Yo, GamerNemy here, and today I'm gonna be helping you decide on which character to main in Tekken 8. Now, Tekken 8 launched with a 32 character roster, which is huge and very daunting to the newcomer. So it can be very difficult to choose on which character to play. Now, at the end of the day, you have to play whichever character looks cool to you. It's all up to you. But the problem with that is a character might look cool, but they might not play the way you want to play, right? They might not fit your kind of playstyle, and this is the whole purpose of this video. Now, disclosure, this video might be over 2 hours long, over an hour long, so please watch it at your own pace and use the timestamps to go to whichever character you want to see. I will provide timestamps in the description of the video, so please check that out. So I'll just do a basic summary on each character, their archetype, strengths and weaknesses, and what they excel at. I won't go in depth. I have separate guides for those videos, character introduction, so please check them out. So without further ado, my boys, let's get right into it. Alright, so first let's talk about Alisa, the robot girl. So Alisa is like, she's like a robot, right? Kind of like the creation of Dr. Boskonovich, right? So that's Alisa. So aesthetically, if you do like, cute, weeby anime girls, then Alisa is a character for you. Of course, she does some quirky stuff, like removing her head, throwing her head at you, right? Stuff like that. She's got like rocket propelled, rocket punches, like literally a rocket punch, right? She has stuff like that. So she's that kind of a character. So aesthetically, I do love Alisa, right? She's a pretty cool character, very, very kawaii, So again, aesthetically, if she's your kind of character, then by all means, do play Alisa. So now, let's talk about her strength. Alisa's biggest strength in this game is her movement, right? It's just the same as Tekken 7. She's a character that utilizes movement, and nothing has changed in Tekken 8 as well. She has a very strong sidestep, and she has a very strong backdash. So again, if you like, with the character with strong movement, then Alisa is that character. So now, one other aspect of Alisa's archetype is the fact that she's kind of a poke-heavy character, poking and movement, right? She's a character that's supposed to get in and get out with very little risk. So she can just come in, poke you, initialize her movement as well. She's that kind of character. And she also covers range very, very good. Like, she's got insane range, like running 2, for example, running 3+4, or running 3-4. She has a down 3, which is a low from like half screen, right? Press forward 4. So she covers range really quickly. She has, her flight stances, dual stances, where she can mix it up with mid, she can mix it up with lows, right? So that's the kind of character that Alisa is. Movement, poking, and can cover space really, really quickly. One of her biggest strengths is her chainsaw stance, right? Being a robot, obviously, you must have chainsaws, right? So this is Alisa's biggest strength. This is why she goes crazy. We talked about how she utilizes poking and movement, and she's not that great when it comes to like pressure, but when she's in stance, all hell breaks freaking loose, bro. Like, she just goes crazy. She has insane frames, she has very good lows, right? And like, she's just like super plus on everything as well, so it's crazy. It's crazy. So she's a very safe character in neutral, right? She holds back. She holds back in neutral. But when she goes into chainsaw stance, like, this is your chance to go like really aggressive, right? That's the kind of character that Alisa is, right? Although you do sacrifice your movement. Her movement is very limited when she's in chainsaw stance. You can't run, right? You go into dual bot, which is a flight stance, right? So of course she has moves from this as well. She has a high, she has a mid, she has a hell sweep now, right? So her stance is very, very scary. So like I said, movement, poking, covering space really, really quickly. You want to go very aggressive and in need of frame data, the chainsaw stance is what you have. And furthermore, whilst in hit, her chainsaws become super enhanced. As you can see, they glow red, right? That means they deal an absurd amount of chip damage. They get powered up and do absurd amounts of chip, right? So that's basically how Alisa's hit works. I've done an in-depth guide on Alisa's hit mechanics, so please check out that video. I'll leave the link in the description. This is basically just summaries of the characters, basically. So Alisa's biggest weakness is the fact that she doesn't really have, that many. She doesn't really have a good comeback factor potential. It's very difficult for you to do a comeback when you're like far behind in terms of life lead with Alisa. The biggest thing you can do is, of course, her hell sweep. Her chainsaw stance, right, which has a hell sweep there, right? Other than that, you will find it very difficult to make a comeback because, like I said, her biggest strength is poking, right? So poking is not enough when it comes to making a huge comeback. And Alisa is a very safe character as well. You won't find yourself getting launched that much unless you go for like risky stuff. Like down 3, for example, is launch punishable, running 2 is a high. So if you play safe, you won't find yourself at risk with this character. She's a very, very safe character. So that's basically how Alisa works. If you like a safe playstyle, range, easily cover range fast, poking, going crazy with her chainsaw stance, in terms of frame data and aggressiveness and good low pokes, and Alisa is that character for you. She's actually a very strong character and one of the best in the game currently. Okay, so now let's talk about Asuka Kazama, cousin of Jin Kazama and practitioner of the Kazama style martial arts. So Asuka is pretty cool, introduced in Tekken 5. Aesthetically, I do love her, one of my favorite female characters. So she's basically just a Kazama style martial artist. If you're familiar with Jun Kazama, then it's basically almost the same as Asuka. These two are very similar characters, although they were actually very differentiated in Tekken 8, and they're actually very unique to each other and do completely different things in this game. So Asuka is a very, very cool character. She's very interesting, and she's kind of a hybrid character as well. So Asuka's archetype basically is keep out. She's got very good keep out, and she's got a very strong parry game as well. Then everything else is kind of like a hybrid character to some extent. So if you do like a character with a strong parry, then Asuka is that character for you. So this Sabaki parries almost everything, right? Mids and highs, basically. So just some jabs for you guys. Okay, record that, boom. Right, so it makes her a very, very oppressive character to deal with, right? You don't want to just smash buttons carelessly against Asuka because of that particular parry. And in Tekken 8, parries cannot be chicken. You can't break parries. Once you land a parry, bro, you're eating that. So she's that kind of a character. So there's not really much to talk about Asuka, right? She's kind of just like she can't really poke that good because her frame data is not that great. Her punishment is not that great either. She thrives off of keep out, right? Her back three is very, very strong. She has moves like side step 2, she's evasive, right? She has a parry. So she's a weird character when it comes to explaining her archetype, But overall, she's a very decent character, and one of her biggest strengths, what defines Asuka in this game mostly, is her hit mechanic. I think Asuka gets an identity when she goes into hit. So when she's in hit, there are 3 moves that get powered up. So she has up 1+2, she has forward 1+2, and she has running 1+2. So all these moves get enhanced whilst in hit. So just to give you guys a brief example, forward 1+2 just knocks it down on normal hit. When she goes into hit, this becomes a full-blown launcher, right? Sorry, I did the wrong move. Becomes a full-blown launcher, which is pretty good, right? Yeah, so she's that kind of character. She revolves mostly around this stance of hers that she gets in Tekken 8. Ninawa Gusto is what the stance is called. So even running 1+2 becomes hella powered up in this stance, right? Does more damage, like 42 damage. Then up 1+2 becomes a spike. So for example, just to show you guys something basic, if I do this, right, nothing happens. If I go into hit, however, now goes 1+2. All right, I get a follow-up, right? So I feel as though Asuka's biggest identity is when she is in hit, and it revolves around these 3 moves. So if you like a character that's strong, right, in hit especially, with Ninawa Gusto, then Asuka is that character for you. Her combo damage is very strong as well, right? She hits like a freaking truck, as you guys saw earlier. So high combo damage. Then her poking is kind of like hybrid, right? She's got good stuff from full crouch, right? Strong power crush, by the way, a power crush hit engager. So it's a bit difficult to explain how Asuka works, but she's kind of a hybrid, guys. That's how she doesn't do one thing perfectly strong, right? But she is strong at everything she does, but like not at one particular thing. However, she thrives with her parries and her hit mechanics. So if you like Asuka and you're thinking of picking her up, then please do so. She's a very, very fun character to play in Tekken 8. Azucena, the Tekken 8 newcomer and coffee junkie. She's also a dancer and a mixed martial art champion in Peru, I believe. So she's yeah, that's Azucena, right? If you like a quirky kind of goofy character, then yeah, she is for you. It's pretty good and very, very strong in this game. It's actually ridiculous. So yeah, if you like a character aesthetically, like look-wise, if you like that kind of character, you know, dancer, kind of quirky, loves coffee, you just like having fun. She's just a fun kind of character, and yeah, Azucena is that character for you. So now, let's talk about her archetype and just what basically she does in this game, her strengths and weaknesses. So Azucena is a stance mix-up character, and she's a very, very string-heavy character, right? She has that thing of, is she gonna finish a string, right? Is she gonna do a mid variant of the string, or she's gonna do a high variant? For example, this is down forward 1-3, 1-4, right? So she can just do this, or she can choose to do the full thing, right? And if the last string hits, she gets, I believe, a counter hit launcher. Right, and she can launch you from this, right? So that's the kind of character that Azucena is. She has a bunch of strings, right, that she can take you out with. Is she gonna complete the whole string, or is she gonna like cancel it or do a high or go into stance? For example, this is 4-3, right, which she can delay as well, right? So she can choose to delay this string or cancel it into her backstand stance. Like I said, guys, she's a mix-up character with stances. So from this stance, she has a mid that can launch you, right? So this can launch you, it goes under lows, and she has a low, right? So, right, she has other mids like 2, for example, right? Like 4, for example. It's a mid as well. So yeah, she's that kind of character, right? 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2 is another example. Is she gonna finish the string? Is she gonna do the first 2 hits, right? So it's kind of like this risky game you have with Azucena to mix up your opponent on whether she's gonna finish strings and get a reward if she does finish a string and she catches you mashing, or is the opponent gonna have the read and punish you for throwing that string, because most of the strings are like highs or either punishable. So that's one aspect of what makes Azucena strong in this game. Secondly is a stance mix-ups. Like I showed you, back there's a bunch of mix-ups. She also has this Liberator stance, which has an auto parry. So this stance will parry lows and highs as well. Just show you guys. Let's see. Let's see, record this. Boom, bada bing. Mid, high, high. Yes, record. So, okay, play. You see that? She can parry a high, right? And I can punish by pressing certain buttons. That's going to the same Liberator stance, right? Yeah, so this goes under lows as well. So it to punish highs and it to punish lows. So someone that faces Azucena should be familiar with this gimmick, or else they are getting blown up. I don't care who you are, you have to know about that. So her Liberator stance, the same parry stance, has a bunch of mix-up. She has a launching mid, right, which is punishable on block, but it's strong because she also has a hell sweep, right? So 50-50 between the mid and the low. So as you saw, guys, it's pretty ridiculous, right? And she has moves, right? That's a punish again. Is it 2-2 or back 1-1? Yeah, back 1-1, right? Go into this stance. So for example, back 1-1 has a full string, back 1-1-3. So remember what I told you guys? She either chooses to finish the stance or cancel the string, into her stance. So she has a bunch of these strings that go into this stance and just mix you up. That's basically how Azucena works in this game. And in hit, her Liberator stance becomes enhanced, right? As you can see, it becomes way faster at the cost of a hit gauge, but it gets you the chance to go into her Liberator stance much faster. And her parries become super enhanced in this stance. For example, let's play that scenario again, record, right? As you can see, she now does it automatically. She'll parry these moves automatically in hit, right? Okay. Yeah, that applies to the low as well. If she parries lows, it becomes a launcher. So that's how Azucena works. Stance mix-ups and huge string mix-ups she can cancel, she can fake you out. She's that kind of character. Very oppressive with the running 2-3 as well, running 3-2. Right, so she's a pretty strong character, guys. So if you do love that quirky character that loves dancing and has a very huge addiction to coffee, right? And Azucena is that kind of character for you. Bryan Fury, another of Dr. Boskonovic's creations. Dr. B created Alisa, also created Bryan. Fun fact. So Bryan is also a cyborg, the cyborg of the game, right? Pretty insane character. Aesthetically, he's one of the best designed characters in the game, in my opinion. He is a very good character, although very difficult for beginner levels. Actually, I haven't been talking about character difficulty. Sorry about that, guys. I think I need to start talking about that. So starting from this point on, I will talk about character difficulty as well. So like I said, Bryan is a cyborg, and being a cyborg, that looks sick. Believe me when I say this character hits like a freaking truck. He hits so hard, it's insane, right? So aesthetically, like I said, pretty sick looking character, no debate about that. So Bryan in this game, right, he's basically a kickboxer, but being a cyborg is kind of like a hybrid, right? So Bryan in this game is like a counter hit character, heavy pressure, right, has a bunch of plus frames as well, you know, whilst also doing a ton amount of damage as well. That's basically how Bryan should be used in this game, or his archetype: damage, stance, pressure, and like, you know, plus frames as well. So he's pretty ridiculous, guys. Pretty strong in this game. So Bryan has a bunch of moves that counter it, right? So if you're looking for a character that thrives on counter hits, if you want to play a counter hit heavy game, then Bryan is that character for you. So yeah, stuff like 1-2-1, right? The last hit will launch, right? Giving you a full launch. Pretty insane, right? You don't want to be matching against this character. He has back one, which, like I said, also is plus. Like I said, is a plus frame character also, right? Insane pressure is plus frames. So if you want plus frames, Bryan is the character for you. So back one will launch and counter it as well. Pretty insane move. Tracking is also ridiculous, honestly, right? So he's that kind of character. He has 3+4. Safe mid, has a ton of pushback on block, as you can see. Very oppressive. And like I said again, launches on counter hit, right? Pretty sick. You know, he has forward 3, safe mid, launches on counter hit. pretty sick. So it's a theme with Bryan. He has so many of these counter hit launching needs that almost everything you throw out is going to launch the opponent on counter hit. So he is that kind of character. And also, like I said, he deals a ton of damage, right? His damage is ridiculous, and this heavily ties into his hit mechanic, right? So when Bryan is in hit, so just like Asuka, 3 of his moves, or about 4 to 3 moves, get enhanced. So for example, he has more punches, forward 2, right? A mid move goes into hit, knocks down. So when he's in hit, or when he's in snake eyes, so snake eyes is a stance that he gets when he does a taunt or certain moves. As you can see, his arms glow red, right? So for example, up forward 3+4 will give him snake eyes, or snake eyes buff. So in this stance, the moves get enhanced, like I said. So forward 2, whilst in hit, becomes this huge, right? So much damage, 36 damage from just a forward 1+2 punch, which is pretty ridiculous, right? And this move also has a built-in parry. So for example, let's show you guys. Record. Down forward into back 1, okay. All right, so let's go to snake eyes first, then let's play that. You see that, right? It's like a counter. So it goes to attacks. Oh my god, I did it too early. Okay, again. Right, if I get hit whilst I'm in the middle of the animation, right? Oh my god, get the snake eyes buff, right? If I'm in the middle of the animation, it will come out as a parry. So it's pretty sick. He has a new combo ender, upward 2223, right? When he's in hit or in snake eyes, he adds more hit and does more damage. So it's pretty insane, right? So just something basic, if I can get this right. Look at that, 83 damage. So yeah, Bryan's damage becomes ridiculous, especially when he has snake eyes. Then one last move he gets, for example, is 214, right? When he's in hit, he gets an enhanced version of this. So 212, right? Yeah, pretty ridiculous. And this all ties into his taunt, which is his high level stuff. So Bryan has a taunt, which is basically a guard break, right? It's very difficult to do, by the way, right? He can't get anything that's 14 frames after he does this, but it's a very difficult to do, like high level stuff, right? So when Bryan breaks your guard whilst in hit, he can break your guard and get the full version of the snake eyes move I just showed you guys earlier, but it is very difficult. I'm not a Bryan player, so he can break your guard and do that move. So like I said, a very damage heavy character, insane plus frames, and pressure, right? And like it's crazy. Like Bryan is just he's a very oppressive, right? I even forgot about quarter circle forward, quarter circle back one, right? Another plus frame move, right? So you have this, you have back one, right? So his pressure just becomes ridiculous. He has low soccer kick, which is again +6, very strong low. So his pressure just becomes ridiculous, right? This also launches on counter hit as well, being a counter hit character archetype. He's a very ridiculous character, guys. That's Bryan Fury. So if you like a cyborg, sick looking cyborg, savage, right? Damage plus frames, Bryan is that character for you. A very strong character, very interesting character as well. But for beginner level guys, Bryan is a very difficult character to master, right? So I advise for beginners, start with a very simple character first before going into Bryan. But you can play Bryan at lower level, but it's just very difficult. So I will do some beginner guides on difficult characters, so just keep a lookout for that. So again, if you love Bryan, if you love damage, if you like counter hit tools, insane plus frames, and Bryan is that character for you. Okay, so now let's talk about Claudio Serafino, the exorcist of the serious. Claudio is an exorcist from some kind of cult that lives to exorcise demons from the world, right? In ties with the devil Jins and the whole devil story of Tekken, of course. So Claudio is a character that thrives on strong mids, running game pressure with his running 2. Let's put him on block, right? Strong mids, running game pressure with running 2 and running 3. Running 2 and running 4, as you see, running 2 is a high, running 4 is a mid. So kind of like a mix-up. Running 2, of course, goes into hit, right? So he thrives with that kind of pressure at max range. Then he has very strong mids as well. One of the best mids in the game, right? That's basically how Claudio works. That's basically his mechanic or his archetype, or just part of it. So the other aspect of Claudio is that he revolves around a mechanic called Starburst. Just like Asuka, just like Bryan, those two got inspiration from Claudio. Their hit mechanic got inspiration from Claudio. So for example, let's say I do 4-4-2-2, right? Which is the Punisher. I get an effect called Starburst. As you can see, his hand glows, right? So when his hand glows, his moves get enhanced. Certain moves he has get enhanced. For example, this is 4-4-2-2, which just knocks down on normal hit, right? On block, it's not safe, it's -14, right? So some characters can launch this, right? So when I'm in Starburst, right, let's go for 2-2, get the glowing arm. When I'm in Starburst, it now becomes a launcher, right? As you can see. Yeah, I don't know what his combo is. I don't play Claudio. So a lot of his moves get enhanced. Another move, for example, is this is down back 1+2, right? Knocks down on normal hit is -12 on block, so not safe. However, when he gets Starburst, it becomes a mid-safe launcher, as you can see, right? Yeah, so Claudio has a bunch of these moves when he is in Starburst. So his hit is basically infinite Starburst, right? You lose Starburst, sorry, you use starburst moves at the cost of your gauge instead of actually losing the starburst once you throw out a move. Because when you use a move in starburst, you lose the starburst effect. For example, right, my starburst has gone, so now I have to get it again by doing certain moves like running 2, right? So that's basically how Claudio's hit mechanic works, and that's how you use Claudio around his starburst. Claudio is a very strong character and a very easy character to pick up if you're a beginner and you like Claudio is aesthetic. He's a very strong character and a very easy character to use as well. His biggest weakness is the fact that he doesn't really have that strong lows. His low game is not that great, right? He has down back, 4-3, which is a low high, so it can be punished. He has down back 3, which is launch punishable on block and is very reactable. And he has high step 4, which is his best low, one of his better lows, right? That's basically it when it comes to lows. So whilst having bad lows or not that great of a low game, his mids are very, very strong, and that's what makes him a very scary character in this game. So if you like a character with strong mids, insane mix-up game with running 2 and running 4 mix-up, strong mids in terms of starburst as well, right? Enhancing his moves, then Claudio is that character for sure. Devil Jin. So for you guys that don't know, Devil Jin is basically Jin Kazama but possessed by the Devil Jin or in his devil form. So when Jin transforms to Devil Jin, he becomes a completely different character from Jin. And they're completely separate characters. They're not tied into one character like, for example, Kazuya, who we'll talk about later. So first things first is Devil Jin is a Mishima. So the Mishimas kind of have the same archetype but different in a sense. So being a Mishima, Devil Jin's biggest strengths are punishment and mix-ups. Like his mix-up game is one of the best in the game, and his punishment is the best in the game, and space control as well. So the Mishimas have a certain move called the EWGF, the Electric Wind God Fist, which is this move right here. As you can see, it's a safe mid launcher that's plus on block. However, if I drop the perfect input, it becomes punishable at -10, has no pushback, and has no plus frame. So this move has a just frame input that you have to do. It's a perfect input that you have to input for you to get the full properties. But like I said, safe high launcher, right? So it's a pretty sick move for space control. Very difficult to react considering the fact that he also has strong mids, right? Like forward 2, for example, forward 4. So you just don't want to dack against Devil Jin, right? Because of this move. Because again, he has very strong mid. So he's a very, very strong character when it comes to space control. This range all belongs to Devil Jin. It's ridiculously strong, right? So that's one aspect of how to play Devil Jin, or his archetype is space control. And like I said, his punishment is very, very strong. One of the best punishers in the game, right? 12 frame, right? 14 frame, 10 frame knockdown, right? Back 1-2 knockdown. With punishment is strong as well. Like look at the range from this, right? So punishment, yeah, Devil Jin is that character for you. His biggest strength without a doubt. And we spoke about mix-ups as well. So Mishimas have a move called the Hell Sweep, right? So this move has different properties for each Mishima. For example, Kazuya's knocks down, Jin's knocks down, Reina's leaves them standing. Devil Jin's, however, has 2 versions, right? He has one that leaves them standing and leaves you at +4. So it leaves you at an advantage to continue your pressure, although you most likely will be utilizing this version, which is a launcher it's a low launcher. And trust me guys, no character in the game has this except Devil Jin. Unreactable low launcher, which is launch punishable on block, but like I said, it's unreactable, so very difficult to deal with, right? You can do some crazy combo like this, right? Devil Jin is sick in this game, so it's a very strong mid. I mean, a very strong low, and like I said, it's a mix-up character, so you can mix you up with mids, right? You can go for like up 4, which goes into hit, right? Safe from like a wave dash, right? Then he has 1+2, wave dash 1+2, safe mid. So as you can see guys, these 2 moves have the same animation, right? He has this like torso spin, right? And he has the same thing with 1+2. So yeah, it's difficult kind of like dealing with this mix-up, and it makes him a very, very oppressive character. So the wave dash, like I said, Mishimas have a thing called the wave dash, right? They can do certain moves from this wave dash, like the hell sweep, the electric, right, and certain other moves. So at high level, you will see people like use this a lot, right? So they're kind of like mixing your opponent up, saying, okay, I'm about to do the hell sweep, I'm about to go low, right? Oh, you're gonna duck? I'm gonna go mid, right? So that's kind of Devil Jin's game plan in Tekken 8. And his hit mechanic kind of enhances that aspect of him. So like I said, his punishment is good. So we spoke about upward 3+4, right? So this move is like launch punishable on block. It's so bad. However, in hit, it gets an extension, right? The laser beam, and it becomes safe. So it deals more damage on hit and it becomes safe. So that's kind of like how Devil Jin's hit mechanic works. He gets the laser beam that adds extensions to his moves. For example, we spoke about the mid, right? So in hit, this mid becomes a launcher, as you can see, right? So sick, very, very strong. Let's see. Yeah, 62 damage. So it's ridiculous. So in hit, he now has a low launcher and a mid launcher. So he is a very scary character in hit, right? So yeah, Devil Jin is very, very oppressive. Very oppressive character, very strong. One of the best characters in the game right now. In terms of weaknesses, I don't think he has any major weaknesses, except he doesn't really have good, let me say low crush. He only has like down back 2, but like, honestly, it can be very difficult against characters with good counter hit tools, especially characters like Steve and Lee, because Hell Sweep does not go under highs, so it can be very susceptible to like counter hit launchers. But it's a very niche weakness because overall this character is strong. He has strong power crushes, right? He's strong. His grab game is decent. Like, dude, he's a very strong character. I don't know what else to say. But if you do like Mishimas, you like the look of a devil, right? Sick ass laser beam combos, right? So Devil Jin is that character for you. Like his combos are sick. He's a very sick looking character. It's something, right? Look how sick this is, right? So yeah, he's a sick character. So if you think he's that character for you, then by all means do pick up Devil Jin. Sergei Dragunov, another of one of the most aesthetically pleasing characters to look at, the best designed character in the game, one of the, yeah, like Dragunov. He's a very strong character. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So Dragunov is Russian, very mute character. He's never said a single word since the introduction to Tekken 8 or to the Tekken franchise. He's never said a single word, right? He's that kind of character. So Dragunov is, dude, this character, oh my god. Dragunov is a pressure heavy oriented character, right? If you want plus frames, Dragunov is that character for you, right? He has moves like running too, right? Look at the plus frame, that's +6, right? Leaves you in the face of the opponent, and we'll talk about that later. Running 2, of course, knocks down on normal hit. On counter hit, becomes a launcher, right? Yeah, he's that kind of character, right? He has back on +2, another plus frame move, leaves you at +6. Very, very strong, knocks down again for guaranteed stomp, right? He has quarter circle forward 4 now, new to Tekken 8. Another plus frame move leaves you at +7 with pushback. This was actually nerfed. It used to leave you like point blank range, thank God. So as you can see, guys, plus frames. He is always plus. This character is always in your face, right? He's just always spamming this plus stuff, which is very, very annoying. Right, so plus frame character, even low, right? His new low, super plus, right? +7, +7, +7 in your face. So yeah, it's very toxic to deal with Dragunov in this game. His pressure is relentless, right? Yeah, that's Dragunov. A second aspect to his archetype is strings. Dragunov has a ton of strings, which make him very, very oppressive in terms of pressure as well. Stuff like 1-to-1, right? He has a mid variation of this, So this is a high. So if you choose to duck, just like Azucena, he has a mid. Oh my god, key charge, right? So if you choose, I didn't even mean to do that. What am I doing? So it's actually no more launcher now. They changed it. So you choose to duck, you can launch you with the mid. Though the mid is unsafe, he has strings like back 4 2, right? Extension back 4 1, high again. But of course, being a mix-up character in strings, you can go for a throw, ambush tackle, which I'll talk about later. He has stuff like 3-1-2, 3-1-4, down 3. Like he's on a lot of strings. Some are viable, some are not viable. So we talked about pressure, we've spoken about strings, and the last aspect to his game or his archetype is grabs. Dragunov is a grappler or a pseudo grappler, a very, very effective grappler at that. So grabs in this game can be broken by each different arm, right? So left arm, right arm, and both arms, right? So this is his 1 throw. You break this by pressing 1. His 2 throw, you break it by pressing 2, and his 1+2 throw. Blizzard Rush, insane looking grab, right? So already we can see that he has an insane grab game, he has insane pressure and insane strings. This also ties back to his ambush tackle I showed you guys earlier. So ambush tackle can be done from certain moves, right? For example, size 3+4. And just like his throws, he has a different break for a different arm, right? So this is 1 break, takes away your gray health. He has a 2 break, does just a bit less damage, and his most damaging throw from the ambush tackle 1+2. So he just beats the crap out of you, right? So high damage. So now this comes into play when we talk about his hit, because when he is in hit, his ambush tackle becomes unbreakable, right? At the cost of his hit gauge. As you can see, it takes up a chunk of his hit gauge. So the ambush tackle itself is unbreakable, but however, the throws can still be broken if guessed right. So that's basically how Dragunov's hit mechanic works. So as you can see, guys, pseudo grappler, insane pressure, right? Insane laws. His laws are really good in this game, right? And crazy strings as well. So if you do like drag, aesthetically pleasing, very nice character. Like he looks good, does not speak. He's a mute Russian character. Like his name's Dragunov, bro. That's the name of a freaking Russian sniper. Like how sick is that? So anyway, pseudo grappler, pressure, insane frames, and strings, and Dragunov is that character for you. His biggest weakness is the fact that he doesn't really have strong counter hit tools. So as much as you're good at dishing out pressure, you won't be good at actually dealing with pressure as well. His only good counter hit tool is 1-2-1, which is a hit confirmable 10 frame string that goes into hit. Other than that, you have to rely on side steps, your defense, and like power crushes as well to deal with pressure in this game. So Dragunov, very strong character in Tekken 8. Right, so now let's talk about Feng, the Shaolin character of the Tekken franchise. If you like Jet Li, if you like Shaolin, you like monks, that kind of thing, then that's Feng Wei for you. Feng Wei, again, is one of the strongest characters in the game right now, arguably top 3, but at most top 5. So Feng's archetype is basically a jack of all trades. This guy does everything, and he does everything very good. Like, everything that he does is strong, right? So there's a perfect balance on everything. It's ridiculous. Punishment, grabs, plus frames, low pokes, everything is strong about Feng Wei. So he has a bunch of, even parries, he has a bunch of strong stuff. I don't even know where to begin with this character. But Feng Wei, yes, okay, let's start with his lows, because that's where most of his pressure comes from. So Feng Wei has a down back 3 low, which leaves you at +4 and leaves your opponent crouching. Has a follow-up animation on counter hits, right? So pretty ridiculous. So his low game is pretty serious. Down 2 leaves you at +1, at -1, sorry. Right, he has a new full crouch, 1+4, pretty sick. He has a headbutt low, right? So his low game is ridiculous. Dude, like, oh my god, I don't even know how to start with this character, dude. He's just so good, right? He has evasiveness, right? So with Feng Wei, you won't really play against him in the sense that if he's negative or you're like plus against him, it's not really your turn, right? He still gets a bunch of stuff like upward 2. So upward 2 is like an inbuilt move that has a side step built into it. For example, let me just record this Feng Wei doing down forward 1 to down forward 1, right? So look at this, right? He just evades it, the whole thing, right? That's kind of the thing with Feng, right? I guess I'll show you guys maybe, let's say, let's see, it's a back 3, right? Okay, so back 3 into hop kick, right? So back 3 is like super plus, right? So I must respect this. But Feng having an inbuilt like sidestep stuff, he makes it easy, like he just avoids it, right? So like it's ridiculous. Look at this, the back tempo, right? Right? So it's ridiculous. So yeah, evasion is one of his biggest strengths in this game. He has a back tempo, like I showed you. He has a low from this. As a mid, if you decide, okay, I have the opening, he's whipped something huge, I can punish that, you can go for the mid, which launches, of course, does an instant screw, right? Good combo damage as well. Instant punisher, right? If you just want to go for a quick punish and go into a hit, right? So yeah, evasion thing is there. He's got good keep out, counter it 2s. Like forward 4 is good keep out. Just throw this out in the open. If you run into it, you get a full launcher, right? So pretty sick. He has back 1, which is a 10 frame counter it knockdown move, right? Although minus 12 on block, so but it's 10 frame. It's as fast as a jab when I say 10 frame. So his keep out is no joke. In hit, it becomes safe. In knockdown on normal hit, no need for the counter hit aspect of it. So pretty freaking strong. You know, like he's just that character. He has a back turn stance. He has a low sweep, which is a launcher or normal hit, right? He's insane. He has a mid, which goes into hit. Let's see, going to hit, bro. Block, right? So it's a mix up between the low and the mid, right? And in hit, the mid becomes a launcher, right? And I just talked about a grab game as well. So when he's in back turn, he has a throw game between 1 and 1+2. There's 2 different grabs from this, right? So this is his high damage for 40 damage, and he can go for his basic throws. Oh my god. Yeah, basic throw. So different throw breaks, 1 and 1+2. So different throw animations. We talk about plus frames. He has plus frames, right? Running 3, forward 3, back 3, right? +6. Like, you can just spam this, bro. Plus. Still your turn. Basically plus, right? That's Feng. He's a jack of all trades, and it's pretty insane. So in hit, talking about plus frames, he gets access to a new move called C Splitter, which is this absurd moves. Leaves you insanely plus at +12. Back turn, right? And like I said, back turn, remember? Back turn, he has a throw mix-up and a low mix-up as well, low mid, right? You duck, has a low sweep, you duck, has a mid, right? So yeah, ridiculous. And the range for this move is actually absurd. Look at the range from this. Yeah, Feng is insane. He's insane. He has guard breaks as well. Guard break, cost in hit. This move will guarantee you 10 frames. So you can get back 1 at the wall, get a wall splat. Yeah, he's insane. Everything this character has. He's got parries. Oh my god. He has a new parry. Shifting Clouds was buffed. So it's a 2-hit parry that will launch after successfully landing 2 hits. Doesn't matter whether it's kicks or punches, you will get both of them, right? You see that? Launches on counter hit. Right? Oh my god. How do I pick up from this? Down forward 1, does down forward pick up? Yeah, so like I said, he will launch you for throwing out, jabs. Feng Wei. Yeah, it is pretty ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He also has 1+2, a jab parry. Guarantees you a showdown which goes into hit. So like I said, guys, jack of all trades. Feng Wei, in my opinion, is what I would describe as the perfect character. He has everything. His punishment is good. His laws are good. Plus frames, parries. So yeah, if you do like Shaolin, however, you do like, you know, bold monks and all that kind of thing, then Feng Wei is that character for you. So let's talk about Hwoarang, who is a Taekwondo practitioner of the Tekken franchise. Introduced back in Tekken 3, the Korean character has always made a Tekken game, right? From Tekken 3 up to Tekken 8, he's made every subsequent Tekken game. I think, did he make Tekken? Yeah, he's made everything, right, till Tekken 8. So Hwoarang, his archetype is pretty easy to understand, and he's a straightforward character. He is pressure oriented and stance, offense, pressure, and stance transitions, right? He has left flamingo, you know, right flamingo, stance switches, you know. So he's a very difficult character to learn, but once you get going, like, this character is insane. He's insane, right? He just keeps going, bro. That's Hwoarang. He just keeps going. He just keeps going. Right? That's just how his character is. Yeah. Yeah, so he's very pressure oriented. And if you're not familiar with how this character works, you're just gonna get blown up. He just keeps going. So like Taekwondo, if you do like kicks, you do like Taekwondo, the Korean look, his look is actually pretty good. I love this new outfit he has, although the colors are everywhere. But like I said, it's just pressure oriented. If you do like that kind of playstyle, then Hwoarang is that character for you. So it takes a while to learn this character. He's pretty intense, right? So for beginners, it's going to be very difficult to get a hang of this character. But once you do, oh my god, this is very oppressive. He just keeps going. And his hit mechanic as well does like massive amounts of chip damage. So again, if you see yourself playing this kind of character or this kind of playstyle, then Hwoarang is that character for you. Actually, it has good stuff as well, like decent grabs, you know, for a character that kicks. For a Taekwondo character, he has pretty insane grabs, you know. It's pretty ridiculous, actually. It's ridiculous, yeah. So that's Hwoarang, offense-oriented, pressure, stance, mix-ups, strings, just kicks. Hwoarang is that character for you. His biggest weakness is if someone is very familiar with the matchup, it can be very difficult for Hwoarang to like sustain his pressure. He's very susceptible to side steps, especially against, like, I'm talking at the highest of levels, top level. If someone knows the matchup very well, it can be quite difficult for Hwoarang to like keep his pressure going. You have to like play smart, right? Play a neutral game and just play around his playstyle. But overall, still very oppressive character, very strong in this game as well. Fighter has Zangief, MKX, I guess, has Serato. Tekken 8 has Jack. So Jack is like the big guy of the Tekken franchise. He's the big guy, so big built character. Like, he's the big robot, right? Jack is him. Jack is that guy. So yeah, being the big character that is Jack, his biggest weakness, let's just get that out of the way, is movement. His sidestep is pretty bad, but his backdash is actually one of the best in the game, right? So as much as you're on the sidestepping, your backdash will be very strong, and this goes in hand with his archetype, which is just like pressure and insane low pokes, like insane low pressure, and his new Gamma House stance as well. And range, right? Range and just pressure oriented, right? He's that character. Surprisingly, he's not really that armor. Besides being a big guy, you won't really rely much on armor as Jack. Like most characters like Zangief, like I said, relies like on armor, the armor flex. So they did give Jack a flex in this game, which does armor as well. So the way these things work is once you absorb an attack with this stance, the move you do from this stance, so the moves you do from this stance become enhanced. More so 1 and 2. So for example, okay, first of all, this is Gamma How 2, right? It just knocks them back, doesn't do anything much. So this, when he absorbs something in this stance, he absorbs a hit, this will turn into a guard break, right? Giving him 10 frames of a follow-up after that. Then Gamma How 1, right? This one does nothing on hit, just a knockdown. Allows you for a follow-up, right? However, once he absorbs something, so for example, let me just show you guys the practical side of this thing. So down forward one, okay. Record this, yes. Absorb. So as you can see, when I absorb, he gets that power up glow, right? So I'll do a follow-up attack after this, as you can see. So So that's the guard break, that becomes a launcher, right? So that's how Jack is. Yeah, that's basically that's actually his hit mechanic, right? He gets infinite gamma health. So all of his moves now stay the same, but it does not go away, just like Claudio, Bryan. Instead, you use it at the cost of your hit gauge. So you can spam it for as long as you have hit gauge. However, in neutral, you have to absorb an attack with his gamma house stance. Aside from that, basically you're just gonna use Jack as a pressure carrier. Like, he's just that big guy, right? He's that big guy that hits hard. That's basically how Jack works, right? You move around his forward 1 for pressure, his lows, his annoying lows. He has lows for days. His range is pretty ridiculous as well, right? Moves like this, the range. That's basically how Jack works. He's the big robot guy that hits hard and uses his armor from his, gamma house stance. So if you do like the big characters, you do love Jack, you do love robots, then Jack is that character for you, and he is very strong. Jack has always been a strong character. He is very strong in this game, and it's particularly easy to pick up as well. Very straightforward for beginner characters. Just feel free to get in with Jack and just learn his strongest tools and what makes him good. Right, so now let's talk about the main man, the man of the hour, Jin Kazama, introduced back in Tekken 3. He's also made every subsequent Tekken game since then. It's a classic. It's freaking Jin, for crying out loud. So Jin, being a Mishima, in quotes, basically has all the traits of Mishima, right? Punishment, space control, and mix-ups. That's basically how Jin works in this game, but he basically has the best space control amongst all the Mishimas, only maybe challenged by Devil Jin, if not better. So just like Devil Jin, he does have, the perfect electric, comes out at 14 frames, So already you can see that his space control is mad. Mid-high safe launcher, by the way, if I didn't mention that before. Safe launcher. So yeah, he's pretty sick. 85 damage, just like a truck, of course. He has forward 2, just like Devil Jin. Remember, space control. He has this range, right? Whilst Devil Jin has forward 4, Jin has forward 4. Devil Jin's forward 4 launches on counter hit. Jin's forward 4 does the same thing as well, right? Basic combo, right? Right, 73 just from a basic combo. So he hits like a truck, has good space control, has good punishment. His punishment is ridiculous, actually, right? So yeah, hop kick, can. So for punishment, you're sorted. Range, you're sorted. Like, his range is just absurd in this game, right? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you look at how far, for example, the dive kick reaches. Yeah, so for range, he's that character. He has good lows as well. He has the absurd new down 2 now, which everyone has been complaining about. Launches on counter hit, right? Good. Yeah, so Jin is he's an awesome character. I can say he's also kind of like an all-arounder, kind of like Feng, but without the evasiveness, although he does have upward 2 as well. Basically he does the same thing that Feng's upward 2 does, evades a lot of stuff. Then being a Mishima means he has a 50-50, so Hell Sweep, right, and a mid-safe launcher, right? So now you have the wave dash pressure as well. They can't wave dash in the PS5 pad for shit, it's so bad, right? So it's pretty sick. Has good homing moves. Yeah, Jin he's a complete character, guys. Complete character. Then one of the best things about Jin is his hit mechanic. So once he's in hit mechanic, so remember when I said he's a Mishima in quotes? So Jin practices the Kazama style martial art, his mother's martial art, and not his father's martial art. Kazuya practices his father's martial art, which is the Mishima Ryu. So when Jin goes into hit, he gains access to the Omen stance. The Omen stance is of Mishima Ryu original. It's of Mishima Ryu martial art. So he gets a mix-up game at the wall, right? If you block this move, you're holding a mix-up between a mid-safe launcher, electric, which launches, and a low, right? Which also launches. Yeah, so it's pretty ridiculous. Jin's wall pressure is absurd actually in this game. So just put you at +4, right? Right, +4, plus, right, do it again, go into low, right? Yeah, that's basically how Jin is, guys. It's insane. Pretty ridiculous character in this game. It's actually crazy considering the fact that Jin has gone through many changes, and I think this is his best version of him. People might say Tekken 4, but like, yeah, Jin is ridiculous, guys. So anyway, if you do want a character that's a hybrid of Mishima and Kazama style, but it's kind of like a well all-around Mishima as well, Jin is that character for you. Built in with good lows, he has everything. Good lows, as a grab game also, 2 and 1+2. Damage is ridiculous, 50-50 between mids and lows. Punishment, like I said, and Jin is that character for you. An easy character to pick up as well, so if you're a beginner, then you can actually start with Jin because it's actually free to use in the demo. So if you haven't bought the game yet and trying to pick up Tekken 8, you can start by trying out Jin. Very easy character to get into. Let's talk about Jin's mama herself, Mama Kazama, Jun Kazama, making a return to Tekken since Tekken 2 canonically, which is pretty crazy. So we spoke about Asuka earlier and how they are kind of similar, but like Jun has her own thing going. She has certain moves that Asuka has, like back 3, forward 2, her throw crouch, her grab from crouch. She has a parry just like Asuka, so they are similar in a sense, but the archetypes are completely different. So let's talk about Jun's archetype. So Jun basically has a life drain system. She gains access to strong moves at the cost of some of her health. For example, this is forward 2. It's a mid launcher or a good with punisher, right? But it's bad on block. So launches or normal hit. So it's bad on block. It's minus 18. So people can launch it, right? It's launch punishable. However, you can make it safe by adding an extension, right? As you can see, it becomes -9. It becomes safe, and it goes into hit as well, right? So at the cost of your health, you can look at my health. My health drains, my health drains, my health drains, my health drains, as you can see. So every move that Jun has, as you can see with the light, right? The light at the end, like down on +2, for example. If the move has this huge light to it, that means it drains her life. It's a life draining move. So the moves are hella strong at the cost of your health. Actually, which is actually a very, niche, or the trade-off is it's not really worth it. Like, you don't lose enough health. The move is just too good for it's like, it doesn't matter how much health you lose, because it's not a subsequent amount to matter because of how strong these moves are. Like this, for example, is a safe mid launcher, right? So look at the health I lose and look at the health they lose, right? So there's no comparison there, right? So it's insane. It's insane. Jun is currently one of the best characters in the game right now due to this mechanic that she has. So that's basically how Jun works. She has stances. She's also a stance transition character. Let's see, how do we do her stance stuff? She has, for example, what's the stance code, bro? Like, just a minute, guys, I'm so sorry. Down forward 2. So anyway, she does have a stance. She has 2 stances. Firstly, she has this stance called, I think it's called heal something. So Jun heals in this stance, but it's not really practical. You won't really be healing this way with Jun. You will be using certain moves that heal her. So for example, in hit, the moves that cost Jun health will not consume health anymore. As you can see, from forward to 1, do not cost any health. Don't even take up your hit gauge, which is ridiculous, right? So Jun is just that kind of character. Cause, like, dude, like it's insane how much mileage she gets from not really spending anything, from doing this hit. So yeah, I found the stance. I found it. So she does have different stuff from this stance, right? As you can see, she like pauses, she can go for mid, she has a hell sweep from this stance as well. How do you do the freaking hell sweep? Is it back, down, back, yeah, down 4, yeah, there we go. Right, so she has a hell sweep and she has a bunch of mids, she has a grab, so you will be using her stance stuff, but not as much as her strong moves. right? So her stance is basically just like kind of like a niche to it, but like she has a bunch of strings that transition into stance, but like it's a mix-up between will you finish the move or will you go into stance? Kind of like Azucena, how I explained before, but like with Jun, it's pretty not that strong, right? You can like down jab out of it and do stuff like that. But basically, Jun gains access to strong moves at the cost of her health, and certain moves replenish her health. That's basically how Jun's archetype works. Her biggest weakness, in my opinion, is sometimes people might know the matchup a little too well. Like I said, with her strings, right? So it might not be, she might not feel as strong as she's supposed to feel, but like overall, she's still a strong freaking character. Pretty strong. Her punishment is good, you know, overall. Yeah, for example, this is a +6 move that goes into stance as well, you know. So yeah, she's that kind of character, very different from Asuka, but she does have the parry as well. Yeah, so if you do love some mommies, right, you want to play Mama Jun, one of the best looking female characters in the game. Actually, she's very interesting. Then Jun is that character for you, for sure. One of the highest damaging characters in the game as well, should I add. Kokode Kusama Waraseru. Kazuya Mishima, the freaking antagonist of the Tekken 8 franchise, the big bad guy of Tekken 8. So we've spoken about Mishimas, and Kazuya is no exception with the archetype, same exact archetype as the Jin. You know, space control with the AWGF, one of the best punishment in the game. 1 to 2 to 2, 14 frame launcher, you know, 15 frames, you know, even outstanding 14 frame launcher. So it's a 13 frame launcher. So for punishment, you want punishment, Kazuya is that character for you, you know. He is that guy. He's just that guy. Punishment, you're solved. Wanna play Kazuya for punishment, you're good, bro. You're good. So Kazuya, like I said, the Mishima archetype, space control, punishment, 50-50 is what he excels at. He is a 50-50 god of this game. Being a Mishima, of course, he has access to the Hell Sweep. So Devil Jin's launches, his other version leaves him standing. The Jin's knocks you down. Reina leaves you standing. Kazuya knocks you down in your face, right? So meaning you can continue that pressure, right? Something like this, right? Hell Sweep. Hell Sweep, right? Hell Sweep. And like I said, being a Mishima and being a 50-50 god, he has a mid, which is a safe launcher, right? Safe launcher. Yeah, so go low, mix them up, go low, mix them up, go mid. They duck, you launch them, right? That's Kazuya. That's Kazuya. You lay on the ground. He has a forward 4, which hits grounded opponents, right? So yeah, let's see. Yeah, forward 4 hits grounded opponents. So yeah, you stay on the ground. He has this. You get up. Yeah, it is 50-50 between the Hell Sweep and the mid. So that's basically how Kazuya works in this game. Punishment, space control with EWGF, right? Controls the space. And 50-50 with the wave dash pressure being a Mishima. So that's kind of the archetype that Kaz is. And in hit, like his game plan changes. Quite right, he still has the same mix-up potential that he has. But like you saw, in Devil mode, his certain moves get enhanced. They get certain extensions with the Devil. Hell Swift gets a new extension to Heaven's Gate, which now knocks down. Of course, this will kill your 50-50 pressure. So if you want to go for damage, you choose to decide to go into Devil and the full extension. If you want to keep the mix-up going, just go for the first hit, right? Go again, first hit, right? If you don't want to go for forward 3, you can go for forward 2. So forward 2 is a hit engager. In hit, it will just knock down, right? So it gets an extension in Devil mode. The laser beam I just saw earlier. So same applies to wave dash 3, right? This is combo ender. But in hit, you can do something like this. Oh my god. Oh my god, you don't play Kaz. Right? So that is basically a combo. Then in hit, it gets an extension. I missed it. Anyway, it gets an extension, as you can see. Right, that's basically how his hit mechanic works. He has other ridiculous stuff, for example, like this stomp, right? So basically just gives you a little bit of plus frames for you to go in, but they don't have to respect it. Be careful, right? But it advises you to like go in for a mix-up, right? Go for mid, right? Go for the low. So yeah, that's how basically Kazuya works. 50-50 gold, punishment, insane damage, devil mode extensions, Austin hit. So if you don't want to be going for like hell sweep in forward 3, you can just be going for forward 2 if you want. Mix them up. Are they ducking? Are they not ducking? Hell sweep. Are they ducking? Forward 2, right? So the PS5 pad is awful for fighting games. Jesus Christ. So that's how Kazuya works, guys. A very strong character as well. You know, Mishima archetype is like the same. Just a little bit, a few sprinkles in terms of differences. But ideally, all Mishimas work the same. So Kazuya, his biggest aspect of the Mishima, like I said, is a 50-50 mix-up with the hell sweep in the mid. So if you do like that kind of playstyle, then Kazuya is that character for you. A very not easy character to get into. So as a beginner, it will take you a while to start flowing with the character. You'll spend sleepless nights trying to master the electric. So don't feel bad if you don't get it immediately. It takes practice. We all spend sleepless nights practicing this move, so it takes you quite a while. But overall, he is a very strong character, and yeah, that's Kaz, guys, strong. King. So King is the wrestler of the game. One of the most iconic characters. If you're a beginner, chance is you know about King. You love wrestling, then King is the character for you. No questions about it. If you love wrestling, then just play King. He is that character. King is him. So anyway, King is a grappler character of the Tekken game, as you can see. Sick outfit, looks pretty insane. So he has a lot of stuff revolving around his grabs, right? His archetype revolves around his grabs. So yeah, being a wrestler, being a grappler, he has a ton of grabs, right? He has the muscle buster. Can you guys actually hear the crowd cheering? Right? How sick is that? The crowd actually cheers. He has the giant swing. The crowd cheer as well. He has, you know, Shining Wizard. He has, I think, a tornado disaster, tornado spin maybe. He has so many grabs. The tombstone power driver. He has the angle slam, right? He has the RKO. He has the pedigree. Triple H out of nowhere. Yeah, so he's a grappler. He has all the grabs. He has the chain throws, right? So if they don't break this, they're eating the entire thing, right? So it just keeps going. I dropped it. I don't remember how to do this stuff, right? Yeah, it just keeps going. That's basically how King works. He has about 6-7 different versions of this, right? If you do like this kind of chain grabs, like, dude, it's crazy. Like, yeah, that's King, right? The grappler of the game. His punishment is different. He has armor. You know, being a strong big guy, he like flexes his muscles. Look at that bulge, bro. Just flexes his right. And there's a follow-up that goes into hit, so this can absorb stuff. More so mids and highs, although very susceptible to grabs. So something like this. Record, yes, play. You saw that? Boom, goes into hit, right? So yeah, he is that guy, the big giant grappler guy with armor. That's King. But even aside from that just grabs, he's basically a very good character when it comes to generic tools as well. So you won't really just be relying on grabs. You can play King without grabs and actually do well. And King is very strong in this game because grabs have had a huge change in Tekken 8. So he's pretty ridiculous, right? There's the DDT as well, right? Enhanced version of the DDT. Yeah, he's insane. He's really fun. So his hit revolves around this new stance called the Jaguar Dash. Look at how cool this stuff looks, bro. He just runs at you. So there's a bunch of stuff from this. He has a mid, right? Huge kick. He has a low. He has a mid, another mid that knocks down, right, for the follow-up. He has ground throws as well, right? Then he has clothesline. He also has a normal clothesline in neutral. Then he has an RKO, like I showed you, which goes into hit. So when King is in hit, the stance changes and becomes full body armor. Like this whole thing is armored. Only susceptible to grabs and lows, right? So yeah, you have to be ready when King is in hit. So whenever King lands a throw in hit, it replenishes back his hit. He gets refunded for using, throws in hit. That's basically how it works. Not all throws, but just most of his most iconic throws. Right? And like his mid also gets enhanced, it becomes a launcher. Right? So pretty good. You can do some basic combo like this. 6 damage, pretty good. Yeah, so King is he's ridiculous. He's ridiculous, right? Mix up good, grab good. Everything you want in a wrestler, King has that. He has armor, he has grabs, he has a good punishment game, so it's a very strong character, guys. If you love grappling, you love wrestling, then King is that character for you, for sure. Okay, so now let's talk about Kuma. So Kuma and Panda have kind of been like the mascot of the Tekken games, right? Yeah, they've also made every Tekken game appearance. They've always been there, right? So let's have a look. So just a little lore. Kuma is basically Heihachi's pet throughout the Tekken franchise. He trained the bear as well. So the Kuma knows martial arts, just for any beginner interested in playing Kuma. So Kuma is a range character, right? He also thrives through range, long range punishment, long range jabs, right? That's basically how you must play Kuma. He does have a stance called hunting. I think it's hunting bear. Yes, there's a few moves from this. He has lows, right? He has, he has mids, a good mid, right? He has a grab, the bear bite. Yeah, so it's basically range, long range hitting moves and mid. Aside from that, unlike Jack, who is like the big character of the game, the big robot, Jack actually has a good back dash, a good back movement. Kuma just overall has bad movement overall. So that's his biggest weakness. Kuma's biggest weakness is movement and the fact that he's a big character. So you dish out more damage, especially at the war. There are some combos that are specific to big characters in the game, such as Jack and Kuma. So if you do decide to play Kuma, keep in mind that you are going to be receiving some crazy ass war combos with this character. But overall, he just plays around, with punishment, his long limbs, his long range, and around the stance, his hunting stance. So it's basically what you use mostly as a mix-up stance, right? The hunting stance. So this is one of his best moves, running 3+4. Running 1+2? Yeah, to get into this stance leaves you at +3 in your opponent's face in the hunting stance. So now you can go for your stuff, right? Like your mids. You can roll, you can grab, roll forward, sit down. Yeah, he's kind of like a gimmick character as well. So Kuma, I won't even spend that much on him. He mainly thrives from range in the hunting stance. Now his hit does give him some sort of new gameplay mechanic. So when he's in hit, first he gains access to the Mishima electric. We spoke about the Mishimas earlier, so he has good pressure. His whiff punishment becomes really, really good. Although with Kuma, his whiff punishment is already pretty insane because his range is ridiculous. But this just gives you a safe whiff punisher, right? And not that good on Kuma because you won't be utilizing sidestep. Electric is good because you can do some crazy stuff like sidestep electric, which makes it very strong. But since you're Kuma, you can't move. You basically use this mostly for combos, right? So just something basic maybe, right? Just something basic. Yeah, and damage, he has a ton of damage as well. Bear barrage. So yeah, that's basically how you use Kuma, guys. Not that complicated. In my opinion, is one of the weakest characters currently in the game, but like he's cool, and I think I will pick him up, right? Reminiscence of Heihachi. His damage is ridiculous. His punishment is S tier, one of the best punishment characters in the game. due to his long ass limbs, his long ass range. His laws are not that good. Almost everything he throws out is launch punishable, so it's a very risky character as well. But if you do love Kuma, if you do love bears, then yeah, Kuma is that character for you for sure. Lars Alexandersson, the bastard son of one and only Heihachi Mishima and the leader of the Yadraso, that's the rebel army that's oppressing Kazuya Mishima, half brother of Jin Kazama. You know, they aren't related by blood, so Lars is actually my main character. He's my favorite character of the franchise, and so I'm very familiar with this character. So aesthetically, if you love anime, right, anime is Lars. Lars is anime. That's why he was inspired in Tekken 6. He came because of anime. He also featured in a Naruto game, if you guys didn't know about that surprising fact. So Lars is insane in this game. First of all, he covers range. He's one of the best characters when it comes to range, right? He can punish you from almost everywhere. His punishment is ridiculous as well, right? 14 frame, everything. You want good punishment, Lars is that character. And finally, what makes him really, really strong is stance mix-up, stance transitions. That is the essence of Lars. This guy can like go into stance to stance. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, right? So yeah, that's Lars' archetype. Punishment, strong with punishment. Mid-range, he commands the mid-range and stance mix-ups. But he does have strong lows as well. So Lars has very good lows. They are all unreactable, right? Except for something like this, like down 1+2, but all of them are reactable overall. But the thing about Lars is his lows are very risky. Very risky. Almost all the lows that Lars throws out in neutral are gonna be launched punished on block. This is launch punishable on block. This is a low high, it can be ducked and launched. This is launch punishable on block. This is launch punishable on block. This is launch punishable on block. And those are like his general overall lows. He has a few that are good, like full crouch, down back 1+2. He's not launch punishable on block. But overall, in neutral, Lars is a very risky character when it comes to lows. The trade-off is he gets strong lows when he is in stance. So Lars is a stance character, like I said. He has three main stances: dynamic entry, which is forward 3. He has silent entry, which you switch into by pressing forward from dynamic entry. Right, then he has limited entry, which you go into by holding down when you are in silent entry. Now you don't really have to use this path to go into these stances. He does have certain moves that transition to different stances. For example, his 10 frame Punisher 2-1 can go into limited entry. Right, forward 4-2 low can go into dynamic entry. Right, down back 2 can go into silent entry. So you guys get the gist. So every stance has different lows and different mix-ups. For example, his dynamic entry has 3+4 low, -14 launch punishable, can go into silent entry by holding forward, right? He has 4 from this. He has a mid, which has a homing move, hit engager, safe. He has another mid, which is a counter hit, safe, mid, right? So this is more like his pressure stance for like counter hits and lows, right? Then his silent entry is a stance of mix-ups. Of course, he has a good low from this. Silent entry 2, right? Then he can mix this up with mids. He has a mid hit engager. He has another mid which knocks down. This one is used for combos, so just something basic like this. Right? He has a power crash from this armored move. Then he has a safe mid launcher. So the main aspect of this stance is a mix-up between the mid and the low. So as you can see, stance, pressure, and stance mix-ups. If you want plus frames, you're going to use his dynamic entry, which is dynamic entry 3, right? This one goes into silent entry, so you can go from plus frames into mix-ups, right? So he just flows. Like this character just flows with his stances, and that's how he's meant to be used. And finally, his limited entry has 2 moves, right? He has a mid, a low from this, and a mid. The mid is safe and knocks down. Now, the main aspect of this stance is that it gets affected by his hit, right? So the low becomes like a huge hell sweep knockdown. Then the mid becomes, excuse me guys, I have a horrible flu, I'm so sorry. his mid becomes a safe launcher, right? So yeah, that's basically how Lars works. That's basically how Lars' archetype works. Very strong character for punishment. His range is good, covers space really good, just like Alisa because of his manual stance transitions, right? Mix up character in stance, good frames if you want, plus frames in dynamic entry, and strong lows in stances but risky lows in neutral. And that's his biggest weakness are his lows in neutral. You have to commit to stances to get the good lows. So that's basically how Lars' archetype works. So if you love anime like me, you love shonen kind of character, you know, fast, lightning, Raikiri. He is a Mishima after all, right? You know, son of son of Heihachi. So he's pretty sick. If you do like him like me, then definitely pick up Lars, an easy character as well to get into. We have Martial Law, who is the Bruce Lee character of this game. You can even see the outfit, kind of like a throwback to Enter the Dragon, right? So yeah, Law is just that character, right? He is the Bruce Lee, the Fei Long, I guess, of the character, the Liu Kang of Tekken. That is Law. So as expected, he comes with his pair of nunchucks and, you know, the water. Yep. That's basically Law. That's basically Law. So now Law is a very interesting character in this game, right? He does excel at a lot of things. Mostly is punishment. His punishment is really, really good, right? Really, really decent punishment. 14 frame, Seeker's Jet Li kick or Bruce Lee kick, and poking, right? Law is a poke kind of character. He does have some plus frames to him, but not as, you know, as immense as Dragunov or Bryan, but he does have some plus frames to his name that he can spam. But overall, punishment strings to some extent, right? Yeah, strings, but mostly it's poking. So it's poking like this. You can just go, right? That's low. That's low. Mainly poking has got decent lows. Banana peel, right? Go into some plus frames. That's how low works. That's basically how low works. And for the nunchuck move, he actually doesn't really have as many nunchuck moves in this game as I thought he would. He has basically two nunchuck moves. He has this one, right? And he has a parry that actually utilizes his nunchuck move as well. So just to show you guys this, down forward one, down forward one. Am I doing it too slow? Oh, I was doing the wrong one. Oh, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, that's his other nunchuck parry move. And this in hit gets enhanced, right? If you refund him his hit, as you can see, I get a ton of hit gauge back, right? Does more damage in hit as well. Then as for his normal nunchuck move, this one, it's not safe on block. I think it's -12, so it's punishable. For beginners that don't understand, it means it's risky to throw this out, it can be punished. However, in hit, firstly it becomes safe. Then secondly, it becomes a launcher, right? So pretty good. Pretty good. Right? Let's see. That's a basic combo. Anyway, basic combo, guys. So that's basically how it works. Punishment, poking game. He has a full crouch mix-up. He does have this slide. You're going to really revolve your offense around this, right? Because it is only low that knocks down. He gets a follow-up nunchuck after this, guaranteed. Yeah. Yeah, like that, right? So you're gonna really use this very much with low. So then when you're in hit, you now get a mix-up between this, right? And the nunchuck move. You can fake out the slide, just do the nunchuck, right? That's kind of like Law's mix-up game. You know, it's based around his low slide because of course the slide has insane range, right? And it's very annoying to deal with, right? You can duck and do like risky stuff like this, for example, but this is range punishable. So you're better off using the nunchuck when you're in hit as a strong version of the slide mix-up. So apart from slide mix-ups, you're mostly going to thrive from punishment and poking, like I told you guys earlier. Some plus frames also, right? It's kind of like a mixture, kind of like a breed in his dragon stance. So Law has a stance called dragon stance. Basically this stance where he flexes. So there's a bunch of moves from this.
He has a mid-hit engager, he has a safe high that launches on counter hit, and he has a low. So low has a bunch of moves that can transition into his dragon stance. For example, 4-3, right? So 4-3, then I input back forward, I go into this stance, right? So I can do moves from this, right? I can go low, right? Stuff like that. So when I say strings, you're going to flow with this character with this stance, right? Alternating for example, goes into dragon stance. So you're going to like do some crazy stuff, right? Plus frames, 4-3 into strings, right? 4-3 dragon stance. So you're just going to flow with the character. Strings into pokes, into slide mix-ups. He is that kind of character. Very, very strong. The only biggest weakness to low I can say is overall poke damage. His poke damage is not that great. In the fact that he doesn't really do one thing great. He kind of like mixes everything around, but doesn't do one particular thing at the fullest potential. But anyway, that's how low he basically is in this game. That's his archetype. Another of a strong character in the game. You love Bruce Lee, you love the martial arts, then low is that character for you. Now let's talk about the charismatic Lee Xiaoyu. Marvelous. The charisma, the ladies man, Lee is that character. So Lee is awesome. Another iconic character, another Tekken staple. He's only missed I think one Tekken game, Tekken 3 if I'm not mistaken, but overall he's been in every Tekken game. So Lee revolves around counter hit, poking, and just frames. That's Lee. So just like Bryan, Lee has a ton of moves that can give him counter hit stuff. For example, he has back 4, right? Good keep out move, goes into Hitman. I'll talk about Hitman later. So it's a good keep out move, very difficult to punish on whiff. Very, very strong keep out move. So like I said, a counter hit, so keep out as well because of this particular move. He has a down 3 low, which gives him a full combo, right? Very, very difficult to pick up. And I'll talk about that later. Lee is not an easy character for beginners. Yeah, there we go. So nice combo. There we go. Very good combo damage as well, considering the fact that 80% of the launchers will come from counter hit 2s, right? So that's basically how Lee works. He has down 2, which takes you into hit, right? So down 2, you can get a follow-up into hit, or you can do down 2 into 4 into hit. He's the only character with a counter hit launching 11 frame move, right? So he has a magic 4. This can launch on counter hit, as you can see. Oh my god, this combo game is very difficult as well. Oh my god, Jesus. Just something basic I want to show you guys. Yeah, anyway. So like you see, as you see guys, very counter hit heavy character, right? Just these 3 moves alone, back 4, down 3, and magic 4. I like make this guy super, super good. In a game that revolves around offense, having some good defensive tools is very, very important. So counter hit is his first aspect of the game. His second aspect is, like I said, poking, right? Lee is that character to just poke you. He's in your face. Doesn't really have hard hitting lows, right? More so just like poking, right? He's that kind of character. You won't really feel the power, like the power on his moves, like a Jack, for example, in Bryan, right? He'll just poke you, right? He'll chip you to death, basically. He'll poke you to death. That's Lee, right? He has a new low, he doesn't knock down anymore. So poking, counter hits, and just frames. Now the just frames play a huge role to Lee's game plan, and this is what makes him a very difficult character for beginners to pick up. So for example, this move, right, as you can see, 33 damage is a 14 frame punisher, but as you can see there are 2 versions, right? This one knocks down, this one doesn't, right? So if you knock them down, if you do knock them down, like this, you get more damage, 41. If you choose not to knock them down, you only get 53. So the game is telling you must learn how to use the just frame version. Now what I mean by just frame is a perfect input. This has to be a perfect input for you to learn this, right? So you have to learn the timings. This applies to many things as well. 444 for example as well. This is what happens if you mash it. However, a perfect input, you get this version. More damage goes into hit as well, right? So it's like that for a lot of his moves. This one, for example, this is a just frame version. If I mash, this is what happens, right? As you can see, more plus frames, no plus frames, right? So that's how Lee works in this game. Even his 10 frame Punisher, just frame input. I can even pull it off because I don't play Lee like that, right? There we go, right? Just frame input, very strong. This is the best 10 frame Punisher in the game, by the way, right? But just frame input, making it very, very difficult. Now, the caveat to this, and what helps beginners actually pick up Lee, is that his hit mechanic allows him to do all those moves without actually having the need to do the just frame version of those particular moves. However, at the cost of the hit gauge. So for example, I'm gonna do this move, right? 1, 3, 3, 3. You can look at my hit gauge. Oh my, I landed it actually. I actually landed it. So, oh my god. Anyway, so if you land this move, guys, it will refund you your hit, right? However, if I don't land it, dude, I keep landing. I can't drop it. Oh my god. Here we go. It takes up a chunk of my hit gauge, right? It takes up a chunk of my hit gauge. So basically what they're telling you to do is, if you land the just frames, you get your hit back, right? And if you don't land the just frames, you lose your hit. That's basically how it works. So it's encouraging you to learn how to do just frames with Lee. So moves like forward, forward 2, for example. Look at this. This is +2 on just frame. However, normal, he's not blocking. He's not blocking. Block Lee. Normal. So this just does more damage. Oh, what am I saying? Right? 23, marvelous, 25, right? 28. I'm so far from the TV right now, guys. I'm sorry. But you do more damage, right? So it's encouraging you to learn how to do the just frames. It may be very challenging with this character. I still drop a lot of stuff, as you guys saw earlier. So as a beginner, if you're trying to pick up Lee, you have to commit to this character. You really have to commit, right? I suggest picking someone a bit simpler than coming back to Lee after you've learned the fundamentals of the game, right? So overall, a very strong character, counter hit. Like I said, even forward 4-3, strong counter hit game. His biggest weakness, like I said, his knockdowns. You won't be knocking down your opponent that much. His slide, unlike low, does not knock down. Forward 3 does not knock down. Forward 3 is a hit engager, you know, so you won't be knocking down your opponent that much. So he doesn't hit hard, but overall, he needs what he has to be successful in this game. Another awesome character, aesthetically pleasing and fun to play. Yeah, hit stance. So he has a stance called Hit Fan, although not a very, mix-up heavy stance. He just has certain moves from this. He has an armored move, cool ass armored move, right? Right, he has a low sweep, not very strong, reactable. Quite a number of mids, hit engager, but not really something to gawk at, But mainly you focus on his slide game, his punishment with just frames, right? Yeah, and counter hit too. That's basically how Lee works this game. So you like that sort of playstyle? If you like that sort of playstyle, then Lee is that character for you. Now let's talk about Leo. Are they a girl? Are they a boy? We don't know. Described as them. This character is meant to represent whichever race, whichever gender you see them fit. So that's how Leo is. So Leo is like a well-rounded character that revolves around pokes, strings with stance pressure is how I can define this character. They're very well-rounded overall. They have everything they need, but more so less in this game than previously due to kind of a change in the mechanics. So Leo. So Leo has a bunch of strong mids, right? That makes them really, really strong. Stuff like down 2, right? Down 1, which launches on counter hit. Sorry, down 2, which launches on counter hit. They changed it, right? Before it used to be down 1. They have back 1-4, which goes into stance. I'll talk about stance reasons earlier. They have a down forward 1, right? Down forward 1, 2, which is mid high. You can just do down forward 1, boom, catch the machine. So yeah, in terms of mids, Leo is that. Leo is them. he is him or she is her, bro. Like in terms of mids, you want strong mids, Leo is that character. So more so, like I said, Leo thrives with stance pressure as well. For example, back one 4 goes into stance, moves like 2 forward 2 4. 1 4 goes into stance as well. So this stance is a bunch of mix-ups, right? She has a low, or they have a low, they have a mid, right? So this is like a simple mix-up that they have between a low and a mid, which launches too far, right? Yeah, so that's how Leo works. So strong lows as well, like a sweep. They can go for like one, cancel to a different stance as well. So this stance, I can't pronounce the names, guys, I'm sorry, so I just call this like the crouch stance. So crouch stance basically has 3 moves. They have a huge plus frame high, can be ducked, but if you duck, they have a strong launching mid, right? So this one is used more for like a mix-up pressure stance. Are you gonna block and eat the plus frames, right? Or are you gonna duck and get risk to getting launched by the mid? This also goes under a bunch of highs as well, right? So this also can transition to the other stance I showed you guys. So Bachik 1, I think it's called. So for example, you can do crouch stance into 4, right? It goes into this stance, right? So like Leo just flows as well, kind of like Lars, but in their own style. So you can do something like this. Right? You can just flow. You can cancel this into crouch as well. Crouch dash, do crouch dash stuff, right? They have strings, the hell sweep. So in terms of stances, that's kind of like Leo's mix-up game, right? You can go for like the low or the mid if you want. Other safer mids involve stuff like, 1+2, but overall, that's basically how her stances is used, or their stances. I keep calling them whatever, bro. I am so sorry. I keep calling him a dude, a girl, but that's the whole point. It's so confusing. So like I said, pokes as well with strings, kind of like strings as well, right? Yeah, strings that do different things. Good lows, right? She's a dab low, a hero sweep, like I said. Good lows overall. And finally, they have this powered up stance called, what's it called? Lightning something. So basically, when Leo does certain moves, just like Bryan's Snake Eyes or Claudio Starburst, it gives them this mode, right? So this mode. Let me just check the name of this. Stance. I think it's called lightning something. Lightning glare. There we go. So lightning glare. So in lightning glare, moves get enhanced. So 3 moves. For first is the hell sweep. So this is how the hell sweep normally looks. However, with lightning glare, it gets an extension, right? So pretty strong. And the other move is, I guess a lightning glare. Back 3, right? So back 3 has no extension as it is normally. However, if you go into lightning glare, hit confirmable 44 damage with an extension below. The other last aspect about the lightning glare is it allows Leo to continue her pressure. To go into this stance, right, from a punish. So for example, 2 forward 2 4 is a 14 frame punisher which can go into crouch. However, when you have lightning glare, you can choose to go into this stance, right, the crouching stance, instead of going into crouch dash. So by pressing 3, and it becomes a normal hit as well, like a normal hit punish, right? So you get an extension which becomes natural. All this is natural, so it becomes a 46 damage punisher. That's basically how Leo works. So her lightning glare is a hit mechanic. They get infinite lightning glare at the cost of their hit gauge. As you saw, it took up a chunk of my hit gauge, so you can't really spam this. So pretty strong character, well-rounded overall, good punishment, good lows. Biggest weakness, again, Leo doesn't really do everything that great. They are well-rounded, but doesn't do that one specific thing that great. kind of like a mix and match of all different things, but like overall not that great. But if you do like Leo, like the aesthetically pleasing style, right, love their stance stuff, then they are that character for you. Leroy Jenkins. So Leroy is the Wing Chun practitioner of the Tekken franchise, introduced in Tekken 7. This man brings the IP man into the Tekken game. So Leroy revolves around parrying, and his mix-up pressure in hermit stance, chip damage, and stance pressure, like I said. So if you're looking for a character that heavily relies on parrying and chip damage, and Leroy is that character for you. So just to show you guys, Leroy has a bunch of parries, and I mean a bunch of parries. So for example, let's record our CPU just to do something basic. So down forward one, down forward one, down forward one. Okay. So Leroy's first parry is back two. As you can see, you can just do this. So it looks something like this. Right? So this parries everything from mids to highs. However, it won't punish moves that take characters airborne, like hop kicks or orbitals. I don't think it parries power crushes anymore. Let me just test that. I might be mistaken. Oh, it still does. Okay, that's a dab. That's a huge dab. Alright, so for the back two parry, you have to manually punish the character after landing the parry. If you just press back two on its own, all he does is the parry itself with nothing. However, if you do the chance to press the button, this is what it looks like. Yeah. And Leroy also has a just frame version of this parry. So it's basically enhanced and does more damage. So just something like this. Sorry, let me use back one instead, right? Okay, hopefully I get this. If I don't, I'll just show you through the move list. So okay, I missed it there. Oh my god. Anyway, let me just show you from the move list. So here is a just frame version of the parry. If you land a perfect parry, right, like this, right, you get the weak. Then he gets more damage and a knockdown. Okay, as you can see that 10 more damage and a knockdown. So pretty strong, right? Yeah, there we go. 35 damage. So 10 more damage. As you can see, 5 more damage, right? Leaves you standing. So that's one basic parry that Leroy has. Another parry is his back 1+2, but unlike the back 2, this one is a Sabaki parry and it takes you into hit. So this one also parries everything from mids and highs, as you can see. Mids, highs, kicks, punches, it doesn't matter. Right, this one is very strong against very aggressive characters like Hwoarang, Steve, Feng, right? This is the parry that you really rely on. He also has up back 2. This one is a very niche one, but this one also is a punch parry, right? There we go. He also has parries in hermit stance. I'll talk about hermit later. So for example, let me do down. Okay, there we go. Sorry, let me just do this. No. Let me do down forward 4 into 1. Okay, so this attack here, the 1. So this is the hermit stance. There's a bunch of moves in this stance, and 1 is one of those moves. So this one also has a built-in parry, as you can see. That's what it looks like. Even kicks, right? Yeah, so it's very difficult to challenge Leroy in this stance. And to add more fuel to the fire, this is Hermit. Hermit stance also has an auto low parry. Yeah, so like I said guys, he is the parry god of Tekken 8. His parry game is pretty ridiculous in this game. So like I said, he's also a mix-up character in stance. So he has a hermit stance. He has a hell sweep from the stance, right? He has another low, that homing low tracks both sides, another low mid, right? He has a plus frame move, this is +4 on block. Then he has a launching mid as well, which is 0 on block, right? So decking against Leroy is not advised, right? He does pretty ridiculous amount of damage as well, good damage from this character. So he will be playing around his hermit stance a lot, right? Your pressure will revolve around this, right? So that's basically how Leroy's archetype works. That's how you're basically supposed to use Leroy. Now, one big aspect, like I spoke about earlier, is the fact that Leroy does massive amounts of chip damage whilst in heat. So Leroy has Wing Chun punches rapidly, like rapid punch. For example, 1+1+2 is a rapid punch. Forward 3, 1+2, rapid punch. 1, 1, 1+2, rapid punches, right? Down forward 1+2, rapid punches. So when Leroy is in heat, all these rapid punches deal so much chip damage, right? 1+2 rapid punches, right? Let me just activate hit. I don't have to always activate it on my own, right? Hermit sidestep 1+2, chip damage, chip damage, chip damage, chip damage, right? Everything he does, look at the health bar. It just disappeared, right? So that's how Leroy works in Tekken 8. But of course, they do take up your hit gauge, as you can see. Right, so every rapid punch that he has deals a huge amount of chip damage. So if you like Leroy, if you like Wing Chun, if you like parrying, if you like strong lows in stance, Leroy is a character for you. He's a very fun character to play, very, very underrated. His biggest weakness is he doesn't really have a generic down forward one which he can use to enhance his pressure. He doesn't have a good mid in neutral that he can just use as kind of like a way to get in to continue his pressure, right? A lot of things were nerfed. This used to be a very, very good mid check, but it's now an unsafe power crash, right? His down forward 4 is not really good enough, so a good mid in neutral is what he's missing in generic poke like down forward 1. But overall, a strong character, strong punishment, good damage, insane parries, and a strong mix-up stance in Hermit. Is this character for you? You decide. Lili, kind of like the child of the game alongside Asuka. Kind of like the ballet, French, kind of like, she has this elegance to her, not quite like Lee, but her own ballet kind of way, right? So that's basically Lili. She's a very popular character. I know for the fact that almost everyone loves this character. So Lili is just like Alisa, in the sense that she mostly utilizes movement, right? I think as of right now, she has the best sidestep in the game. If not her, then it's either between her, Lili, or Zafina. But her main aspect is movement, right? You're going to utilize movement with this character. So Lili is kind of like a hybrid in terms of, poking. She has good range, one of the best jabs in the game, right? But mostly everything just revolves around baiting you to whip stuff and her to punish you. The infamous Matterhorn. So this move is infamous for going under so many moves, even mids, right? So this coupled with her movement just makes it very ridiculous to deal with, right? So she is that kind of character. But overall, she is a very decent character, very strong in Tekken 7, she also revolves around her back turn, right? Like Azucena, she has mix-ups from back turn. She has 1+2, which is a safe launching mid, right? Elegante, right? So you can do some, I don't know what her combos are. She has laws from this, a new law from Tekken 7, from Tekken 8, right? She has, I think, some kind of hell sweep. Yeah, some kind of sweep from this, right? She has flips. She flips all over the place. So that's basically how Lili works. You can get a combo from this as well. So she's that kind of evasive character with movement, right? She can get in your face with annoying pokes, right? She can go to back turn and mix you up, right? Low. That's Lili. That's Lili, and it's so difficult with this character if you don't have good tracking moves that track movement. For example, like Lili has a forward 3. As you can see, the blue effect means the move has tracking to it. Basically, it catches opponents that are sidestepping as well. So if your character does not have these kinds of tools against Alisa, then trust me, your character is going to get blown up. She's very difficult to deal with if you can't stop her movement. Her hit mechanic actually enhances her mix-up potential. So she gets, let's see, what's the name of that move? Back 3, okay, yeah, I got it, okay. Jumping rabbit, I think it's called. So she has this stance, as you can see, she sidesteps, right? Mainly playing into the fact that she's a sidestep character, her movement archetype. So she has moves from this, she has a low, and she has a mid. So when she's in hit, the low gets enhanced, it becomes a knockdown, and the mid becomes super plus and does a ton of damage. So without hit, 24. In hit, 36, as you can see. So it revolves around that evasive movement stuff, but still adding, like, you know, mix-up potential to it. That's basically how Lili works. So if you do love yourself some schoolgirl, elegant French monsieur, you know, that kind of vibe to it, and Lili is a character for you. One of the most popular female characters in the game, without a doubt, and actually one of the faces of Tekken, as much as I don't like her. But if she's a character for you, then by all means do pick her up. Nina Williams, the assassin for hire, the Ada Wong of the Tekken franchise. And that aspect is even implemented, mainly cemented in this game with the introduction of the Akimbo pistols, right? So yeah, this is Nina, an assassin for hire. She basically works for everyone as long as they got the bag, right? So Nina is a hybrid character as well. She's got a good grab game. She's got chain grabs, right? A few chain grabs. She's got lows, good lows, right? She has a sweep. And she has strings. She has strings for days. Strings for days. And I mean strings. When I say she has strings, I really mean she has strings. Right? So she's kind of like a hybrid character with strings and grabs. But like more so, in her own unique way, it's very difficult to understand, bro. Like, she's a very weird character. So anyway, so like I said, she has a bunch of like chain grabs, mainly 2 different versions of this, right? So you can use it to you know, mix up your opponent. She has different grabs for every arm as well, like Dragunov. So she's a very, very strong grappler also. Just like Dragunov, this takes away your gray health, your healable health. So that's 2. This is a 1 break. This is a 1+2 break. So she will throw the shit out of you, right? If you don't break her stuff, she's gonna throw you, and that's for sure. She's got very good lows, very strong low poking game, right? She's got decent plus frames, right? Running 1+2, good homing move, down back 2. You know. And the strings, oh my god, the strings are too much. The strings are just too much. If you don't know how to deal with this character, then she's gonna like mix you up, right? Like the strings are just a lot. So you must know where to duck, you know, where to sidestep, you know. That's basically how Nina works in this game. The biggest change to Nina is the addition of the Akimbo pistols, like I told you guys. So Nina gets pistols, pistol extensions to most of her strings. For example, like outstanding 1, she gets the pistol extensions. They are all high, so they can be ducked, they can be launched. Quarter circle forward, 4-3 pistols, right? So this is like a combo ender, so just something basic. Yeah, that's how it works. So the thing with the pistols is when she is in hit, the pistols get enhanced, they do more damage and they last longer, right? And they hit harder and they take you like really, really far. So like really, really good war carry. So for just to showcase this is without hit, right? Right, see how far they go, right? Almost close to the wall. In hit. Oh my god, really, Nemesis? Dude, what the hell is that? Oh my god. The YouTube curse. Whenever I'm recording for YouTube. And there we go. Look at that. She reached the wall in 53 damage, right? So they last longer, they do more war carry, and they deal more damage. However, the problem with these pistols is that they are highs. They are all highs and they can be ducked. The bad part is like they all come from strings, right? Let's see. Yeah, they all come from strings, so they all can be dark, which is very, very unfortunate because they are very strong. So that's basically what Nina is in this game. That's her archetype. Strings, some string pressure, right? Grab pressure, and the lows with a sweep, quarter circle forward 3, and the mechanic around her pistols. Alright, so if you like a character that has an assassin vibe, Ada Wong kind of Resident Evil, you know, assassination arts, the pistols, akimbo pistols, right? Assassination can grab you as well. Then Nina is that character for you. The Xiaoyu's pet, the belovable Panda. So like I said, Kuma and Panda have been like the mascots of the game. So I won't really go deep into Panda because she basically does the same thing that Kuma does. So please go and watch the Kuma section. It's basically the exact same thing. This guy is an exact same character, except for one thing that I'm gonna showcase right now is that Panda in hit just gets an addition to Xiaoyu's shooting star, right? Which goes into sitting stance. Of course, sitting stance has a low and has a mid, right? So kind of like a mini mix-up you can get. Other than that, everything else is the same as Kuma. So again, if you're thinking of maining Panda, she's the exact same character as Kuma, except for what she gets in hit. So please check out the Kuma section. I have made timestamps, so that shouldn't be very difficult. Phoenix, another face of the Tekken franchise. If you're new, there's a very high chance that you know Paul Phoenix. He was in the demo as well, so I'm sure you guys have gotten to mess around with him. So Paul Phoenix. Paul is the guy that hits hard in this game. That's basically his Paul archetype. And when I say he hits hard, I mean Paul hits hard, right? Death Fist, 46 damage just for this, right? In hit, gets enhanced, becomes safe, and deals combo damage 56, right? So he is just that guy that hits fucking hard. That's basically Paul Phoenix. Everything that this character does just hurts. Yeah, it just hurts. So Paul thrives in a lot of different aspects in this game. His punishment is good. It hits really, really hard, like I said. His damage is one of the best in the game. You know, I can't really showcase Paul damage because I don't mean Paul like that, but just something basic is this. Oh my god, I missed it. Let's be a bit closer. Oh my god. Somewhere here. 95. Look at that. That's just a basic combo. That's very basic. This character deals ridiculous damage. He might be the most damaging character in the game, especially at the wall, right? So that's Paul. You want a hard-hitting character, this is a character for you. He has one of the best lows in the game at close range. He has Demo Man, Demolition Man, pretty sick low. Uses mostly as a mix-up. If they dark, you can do stuff like down back 2, right? You can do stuff like quarter circle back 2, which goes into hit, safe mid, right? So he's like a mix-up character in your face because of this particular low. At the wall, he thrives a lot at the wall, right? So pretty sick. He's a judo character. He practices judo. So with that said, he has a throw game as well. A throw for each arm, right? 1. This is 2. Sorry, that is 1. Then I think he has a 1 throw as well. How do you do the 1 throw? Is it back? Yeah, there we go. So grabs for all arms. He's got good lows. Quarter circle forward 3. Even launches on knocks down on counter hits, right? Side step 4. Side step 3, sorry. Back 4, right? So he's got a low game. His low game is complete. Strong mids, right? So this is like a mix up between the quarter circle forward 3. You can go mid to mix them up and gets the death fists. And this thing hurts. So that's combo damage already, right? 60, right? So like I said, he hits like a fucking truck, right? He is that character. So, and the thing about Poe is when he is in hit, like I showed you guys, every move he has that is like death fist related. So this is the death fist, right? Famous since Tekken 3 because it does so much damage. So his hit revolves around every move that has a form of death fist in it. Like down 1-2 has a death fist, 1+2 has a death fist, his grab has a death fist. So when I'm in hit, all those moves get enhanced. Death fist, insane wall carry, max damage, can get a wall splat from really far. Look at that, right? Broken. 90, broken. He's freaking broken. Down 1-2, like I said, death fist move gets enhanced, has the same property. It will knock you, it will wall splat you from freaking Antarctica. 1+2, normal version, unsafe, knockdown, hit version, a hella knockdown, safe, was splats from Antarctica. So that's Poe. He just hits like a freaking truck. And if you want that character that does insane damage, has a good grab game, good lows, and strong punishment, then Poe is that character for you. Code named Raven. Nothing is known about this character except of the X-shaped mark on his face and the fact that he works under Victor Chevalier as part of the Raven Corps. So Raven is the ninja character of the game, right? He is the mix-up god of the game, one of the strongest mix-up game, and like, he's just ridiculous. He has a Naruto shadow clone, so if you like Naruto, I'm pretty sure you're going to be drawn to this character because yeah, he's pretty sick, right? Also my highest ranked character, you know, so yeah, I do know me some Raven, I do play me some Raven, I do love me some Raven. So let's talk about Raven. So Raven, like I said, is a mix-up character in this game. He thrives through mix-up. He has a back turn stance, right? He has a full crouch mix-up. He has like a full crouch wave dash kind of thing like the Mishimas. So one basic aspect of Raven's mix-up game is his full crouch mix-up game. So from full crouch, he has the sand, the quicksand, or a tornado disaster, whatever you want to call it. Basically a sweep that, you know, leaves him in stance, right? I'll talk about the Soul Zone stance later, like him being a mix-up stance, being a mix-up character, of course he should have mix-up stances, right? So him having this low sweep, right, means he has like crazy Okizeme, right? Crazy ground mix-ups from the ground, right? So he can knock you down and force you in a mix-up situation. So now people duck a lot against this low because it's just so strong. So Raven has a mid launcher, right? As you can see. Unsafe, -14 on block, so it can be punished, you know, so, right, so as you can see, this is one aspect of Raven's mix-up game. So he can cover space really quickly with that crouch, right? He can just dash in your face, go into crouch and do the low, right? That's what differentiates him from most characters with like full crouch lows. Raven can just dash in your face and force the mix-up. That's basically how Raven works, one aspect. Another aspect is his back turn, right? He has a back turn sweep, right, which launches, reactable though, so you don't really be using this as a mix-up. He has a good low, right, which goes into Soul Zone. He has a mid, which goes into hit, other mids, you know, other disappearing stuff. So, like I said, the mix-up character, the ninja of the Tekken game. Soul Zone has a bunch of moves. So Soul Zone has a low, very strong low, launches on counter hit. Pretty strong. He has a mid that goes into hit, so people won't be ducking you aimlessly because it's very strong, very annoying. He has a high, you can do like a shadow clone high, or if you want you can just cancel into crouch if you want, right? So he has a mid as well which screws, so you can do like combos from this, just from this example, right? Used for combos. So yeah, he is that mix-up character. So now, hit enhances Raven's mix-up game. So, when Raven is not in hit, he's in neutral. All of his clone moves are actually punishable. All of his clone moves are -14, as you can see here, right? -14, -14, -14, back 10, 2 to 1, man. Everything is punishable when it comes to his clones. However, when Raven is in hit, that changes. He gets an extra hit from his clones, and his clones become all safe at -3. Basically, you can't punish him. Something like this, for example, as you can see, it gets an extra hit at the cost of his hit gauge. So all of his clone moves, right, get an extra hit and they become safe. They also glow red, right, signifying the power up in heat. So now, what makes it scary is the fact that I talked about the low, right, in the mid mix-up, right, the unsafe clone mix-up. So in heat, this now becomes a safe mid, right? So like Raven now has a full crouch mix-up with a safe mid in heat, so therefore cementing his archetype being of the mix-up god in this game. So he can like just force mix-up, go in heat, right? He can mix you up, or you block this, okay, you're only -3, you can still move, throw out more clones, right, at the cost of the hit gauge, of course. So yeah, Raven is that ninja character, that mix-up god. If you like Naruto, you like them shadow clones, then Raven is that character for you. Pretty sick hit smash as well, right? Sick looking hit smash. So he's that character, right? Biggest weaknesses, Raven, his punishment is horrible. Not horrible, but bad, right? He's got 10 frame. You won't relaunch opponents that are punishable at -15. You won't be getting launchers. You just be punishing them with, you know, his basic punishment, right? So he's missing punishment, but overall, his mix-up game makes up for that because, yeah, he's a pretty strong character. And most of all, you won't really have plus frames against his character. His lows all leave you at negative, at least most of them. His good lows, right? This is his good low, -2. This low is reactable, right? This one is only 0. Right? This one is reactable but leaves him at plus, right? So his lows are not good either. They don't give him plus frames or momentum. So if you want a mix-up character, you know, that Naruto vibe, the ninja character, then Raven is that character for you, for sure. Daughter of Heihachi, the newcomer of Tekken 8, and the most popular character in the Tekken game right now, Reina Mishima. Let's talk about Reina. So speaking about Mishimas and how everyone kind of has their own thing going on despite being the same archetype, right? So Reina is the same, right? She's a hybrid Mishima. She has space control. Of course, she has the electric, right? So her space control is immaculate. Difficult to challenge at this range because she just launch you, right? So pretty strong character. She has a 1-1-2 like the Mishima. She has a forward 3. She has a hell sweep. A hell sweep like the Mishima, although her own kind, right? She won't knock you down. So she's a hybrid. Now, what differentiates Reina from the average Mishima is the fact that she has a bunch of stances, right? She's like a stance kind of character. She has her own thing going on, you know. So she is a Mishima, but her own kind. The mix with Taido, which is a martial art as well. So let's talk about the stances. So with Reina, you're going to utilize mostly her stances where her strength comes into play. For example, her Sentai stance, which is just forward 3, right? Goes into stance. She has some moves from this. She has a mid, which is safe at +4. She has a grab from this, unbreakable grab. So you have to start ducking, right? So pretty scary. She has a mid, safe check mid. She has a homing high, which is a hit engager, and she has a low. So most of the moves she does transition into this stance. For example, 1-1-2, which is the classic Mishima punish, right? Every Mishima has this punish. Hers can transition into stance if you don't hold back, right? So you have to go into stance and throw out those moves if you want, right? Go low. She is that sort of a character. Stuff like down forward 1, you hold forward, goes into center stance, right? She has a bunch of other stuff that goes into her stance, right? I might not just be familiar with them. So you're going to see a trend with Reina with such moves, a bunch of moves that go into that stance of her. So Sentai is just one of them. She also has Heaven's Wrath, right? Which is a pretty sick stance, reminiscent of Heihachi. So in this stance, just like Sentai stance, she has a grab, unbreakable grab, which makes it the basis of a mix-up stance. She has a mid hit engager, safe. She has a mid, which is like plus on block, right? And in hit, she has a low hit smash. So that's what makes this stance scary. So just like a Sentai stance, you can go into this stance after certain moves. For example, the hell sweep goes into this stance, right? So you can do stuff like this, hell sweep, Sentai stance into 2, right? Hell sweep, Sentai stance into low, stuff like that, right? can cancel the Sentai stance. So the Heaven's Wrath. I'm confusing the stances now. Heaven's Wrath into Crouch Dash, right? You can cancel into Crouch Dash. You can do Heaven's Gate into, Crouch Dash mix up. So yeah, Reina revolves around her stance pressure, right? So like a Mishima, like I said, she has a space control. She has a wave dash pressure, forward 4, right? Either Hell Sweep. Oh my god, PS4 pad, PS5 pad, horrible. Or mid if you want. Although her mid will not launch, it will go into hit. So she has that game plan to her. She's pretty good, right? Pretty sick, right? Her biggest weakness, however, is her lows. Her lows are horrible in the sense that they have no frame advantage. Basically, when you throw out a low, you lose your turn, and they are all risky. They are all launch punishable. If it's not launch punishable, then it has bad frame data, right? So this move is low, high. It can be ducked, can be launched, but it's +4, so very, very good. Down back 2 is only -3, right? When blocked, can be launched. Hell sweeps are all launch punishable. Her best low is high step 4, which is 0 on hit, so it doesn't even give you an advantage. So like I said, her low game is horrible. However, her punishment, like a Mishima, as I said, is pretty strong, right? Like look at this for 12 frame, right? 12 frame, right? 14 frame, right? 14, bruh, what? Does it work? Oh, how did it work? It does work, yeah. 14 frame, full crouch is good as well. So yeah, she has punishment, but you will revolve around space control with electric, right? Punishment and your stance pressure as well. That's basically how Reina Mishima works. And her hit enhances her tidal stance or her tidal string. So Reina has a bunch of strings, like her tidal stuff. For example, this, she has 3, 4, right? She has forward 3 plus 4, 4. So this hit mechanic enhances that stance, basically making it safe and adding one more hit to those strings. For example, this adds a third string, this adds a second string, right? So this adds a third string as well. So not that best of a hit mechanic, but like you can throw off your opponent's timing and stuff like that. So that's basically how Reina Mishima works. You want a Mishima that's easy to pick up. She's very easy, by the way, easy to pick up. Has basic, Mishima stuff like electric, hell sweep, PS5 pad. Oh my god, you are horrible. Right? Forward 3, hybrid Mishima stuff. She has her own thing going on with her tidal stuff, her stance pressure as well. Then Reina is that character for you. Pretty strong character as well. Very, very underrated currently. Shaheen introduced back in Tekken 7. So Shaheen is a very strong character in this game. Aesthetically, he's actually pretty cool, right? So if you do love kind of like a Middle Eastern kind of Rashid kind of character, then Shaheen is that character for you aesthetically, of course. So in terms of playstyle, Shaheen is a full crouch mix-up kind of character. You want to force a full crouch mix-up as much as possible. At the same time, he also excels at poking, right, and movement, right? Movement, poking, and full crouch mix-up. It's kind of like a hybrid between all those three things. He does have, a bunch of other stuff that can make him into a pressure character. He has running 2, right? Pretty good, right? He has upward 1 as well. So he does have, kind of like a mini plus frame game, although not too strong. Because upward 1 is just +1 and very linear. By the way, these are very linear, can be easily stepped. So, but he does have that kind of hybrid to him of having like the pressure game, right? But like I said, Shaheen is like a full crouch mix-up god, right? So you're going to be enforcing full crouch mix-up with this character. He has a slide, which has a lot of range. So it's a low, you can get a follow-up, guaranteed follow-up, right? As you can see, he even has a new cancel now in Tekken 7. In Tekken 8, you can cancel this upward 1 by holding down back. And this will like land him back into crouch, right? So you can just enforce a mix-up, something like this, right? Yeah, that's basically how you're supposed to use the full crouch mix-up of Shaheen. Yeah, that's Shaheen. Now, what makes it scary is Shaheen can fake you out, right? They can throw out mids, they can throw out a hop kick if they want to get a full launcher, right? They fake you out and now you're launched. So pretty scary. They can throw out a new mid he has. This is actually a new safe mid. Crouch down for 2, right? So this is what makes him very scary in this game, right? You can enforce a full crouch mix-up that you have to guess for your life, right? So that's basically Shaheen's archetype in this game. And I did say he excels at poking as well. He's got pretty good lows, like down 3, 0 on block, meaning you can move after this. I spoke about movement. Shaheen also has a very good side step. You can like bait stuff, down 3, side step, hop kick, right? Stuff like that. Down 3, slide, down 3, all standing. Just like that. Even side step 2, insane low with ridiculous range, by the way. Right? Leaves you at 0 as well. And just like down 3 will leave you in crouch. They want you to enforce mix up with this character. So this will leave you in crouch as well. You can go for slide, or you can go for his safe mid, right? So that's basically Shaheen, the full crouch mix-up god, right? He has down 4, very good lows. He has a stance called sneak. In this stance, he has a low. You can cancel the stance into full crouch again, meaning you're going for the low. There's a cool grab from the stance as well. Did they change it? I think they changed the grab. Oh my god, did they remove it? They must have removed it. Anyway, so that's basically how Shaheen works. And one thing I want to talk about is his hit mechanic as well. So when Shaheen is in hit, certain moves replenish his hit, like upward 1, right? As you can see, it gives me back some hit. Even running 2 gives me back some hit. Even forward back 2, right? Gives me back some hit. But the most scariest thing about this hit mechanic is that Shaheen gets a guard break. So he gets this new guard break, right? Kind of like a Shaheen looking thing, tornado spin, right? As you can see, it gets a guard break. So this will guarantee me this move, right? Forward back 2, right? So this is guaranteed. Yeah, so it makes him very scary on block as well. And Shaheen can buffer this move as well. So I can actually do it while running. So for example, let's say I go into hit, right? So I'm holding down right now. Right? There's no need for me to do the crouching animation because you have to charge it with down, kind of like Gaio from Street Fighter, right? And let it loose. But you can buffer it. I'm charging it right now. Boom. Guard break. Yeah, so that's basically Shaheen, the best full crouch mix-up character in the game. Maybe only challenged by Raven whilst in hit because Raven gets insane pressure. Shaheen gets a safe mid. So that's basically Shaheen. A very strong character in this game, very versatile and tournament friendly, and a very easy character to pick up. So beginners, you love Rashid, you love that kind of Middle Eastern vibe, you love full crouch, sliding in the DMs for your life. Shaheen is that character for you. Steve Fox, we've shown you the Taekwondo character of the game, we've shown you the Wing Chun character of the game, the Shaolin character of the game, and now we have the boxer character of the game, Steve Fox. If you're new, then yeah, Steve is basically the boxer of the Tekken game. Genetically born from Nina Williams' eggs, right? So she's basically Nina Williams' son, but like not, biologically, right? Like not like, yeah, anyway. So Steve, like I said, is a boxing character of this game, right? It's very unique in the sense that he doesn't have kicks, right? If you press 3 and 4, which are kicks for characters, he instead has sways and like duck-ins, right? So he's that kind of character, right? Pretty unique character, right? He has sways, albatross spins, the alley shuffle, he's got flicker stance, right? He's got peekaboo. Yeah, he's a very fun character to play. Actually, one of my main characters currently. So Steve Fox. Steve succeeds in this game with counter hit and pressure, but still being defensive in the game as well. So he has the infamous back 1, which is a safe mid launching counter hit move. So pretty good, if I do say so myself. Uppercut. Yeah, he's pretty good. So they're going to revolve the gameplay around back 1, right? He has a down forward 2, which counter hits as well. You can get that guaranteed. You can also get his machine gun punches, right? He also has up back 2, which gives a follow-up, Sonic Fang follow-up. Right, so again, you're going to revolve around that with his gameplay. So yeah, he is a counter hit character, right? Forward 3-1, counter hit launches as well, right? Right, so yeah, he's that kind of character, pretty sick. Peekaboo, of course, has counter hit 2s as well. His Flicker has a counter hit 2 as well, right? So you're going to see that a lot with Steve, right? So what he has in counter hits, he loses in punishment. Steve's punishment is not that great. He won't be launching big lows or like lows at -15. His launching Punisher is very slow from crouch. That's at 18, right? So moves like Claudio down back 3, Claudio sweep, you won't really be launching that. Moves that are launch punishable on standing, you won't really launch that because he doesn't have a 15 frame launcher. We're gonna use this. So his punishment takes a hit for him being a very defensive character, very safe character that thrives at counter hit. So he wants to be aggressive against him, right? So like I said, he thrives with counter hit pressure. Sorry, counter hit game and pressure as well with jab game. A very good jab game, right? Good jab checks, right? Even in stance, his pressure is very oppressive. Peekaboo stance, right? He sways. That's basically Steve. That's basically Steve's game plan. When you're in neutral, utilize the stance to be very oppressive, like offensive, right? In neutral, utilize his back 1 as a sort of keep out. He just fish for counter hit 2s. So it's a very safe game plan, right? So being safe again makes it very difficult for comebacks. He doesn't really have a strong comeback factor, and that's been a problem with Steve since Tekken 6. It's very difficult to make a comeback with this character. Because if your opponent is playing safe, not falling to the counter hit baits, you won't really be dishing out big damage. Because even launchers, you won't be really launching people that much. He doesn't really have any big launchers. He has this, but it's very risky, right? So that's Steve's biggest weakness in this game. Excuse me, guys, very horrible flu. So in hit, he gets access to the clinch throws, right? You can mix up between the 1, right, in the 2. So this gives him something to worry about, right, because this does 50 damage, right? So kind of like a mix-up game, a grab game. And of course, this is manual, right? Manual hit takes up bar, right? You can do this without doing the manual input by holding forward 3, which is his duck. Of course, his duck has different moves from this, duck 2, duck 3, right? So yeah, Steve is a very fun character to play, but one of the most difficult characters in the game, if not the most difficult. His combos are very difficult to the point that you have to cancel his stances. For example, if I do back 1, I'm in flicker stance, right? So I have to cancel my flicker stance into ducking stance, right? So let's see, back 1, duck to flicker stance. I'm back into flicker stance, right? I have to cancel my flicker stance into crouch, into all standing 1, into forward 2-2, which goes into Lionheart. I forgot to speak about Lionheart is his mix-up stance. So in Lionheart, he does have 3 options. He has a guard break. Guard break gives him 12 frames, so you get 2-2 guaranteed, right? He has a safe mid, which is a hit engager, safe homing mid. And he has a launching mid, which is unsafe, right? So pretty good stance. Like I said, he's a very difficult character to play, to master. So if you're a beginner and you're playing Steve, it's either you commit to this character or learn an easier character, get the fundamentals down, and then come back to Steve. He is not an easy character to play. I won't even sugarcoat it. As cool as he is, as fun as he is a lot of work. It's gonna take you forever to learn this character. I don't mean to discourage you, I'm just telling you how it is. So if you love boxing, you love the boxer, right? You love the sways, the ducks, right? The freaking alley shuffle, right? Sick mix-up game, pokes, good counter hit game. And I forgot to mention his laws are bad as well. One of the worst laws in the game. He just has pokes for laws. He doesn't really have any big laws, any laws that knock down, right? His laws are pretty bad. So That's what you get for having a strong counter hit game, a strong defensive game in a very safe game plan. That's basically Steve. If you love boxing, like I said, then Steve is that character for you. Victor Chevalier, another newcomer to the Tekken franchise and the weapon expert of the game. This guy has Harambes, he has a freaking sword, right? He has guns. How do you even do his gun? He has guns. He has flashlights, right? He has flashlights. So he's pretty, yeah, he's packed. He's packed. He has everything. So Victor, interesting fact, actually is the leader of the Raven Corps. He is Raven's boss. That's right. So yeah, he is pretty badass. Tekken, of course, has taken a route of weapons now, despite being the king of Iron Fist. There are so many characters with weapons now. We have Yoshi with a sword, Alisa, chainsaws and rocket punches, Raven has shadow clones, right? So yeah, we're way past the freaking Iron Fist. So Victor, like I said, has Harambes. So already it's very difficult to deal with because you can't parry these moves because the weapon moves, right? So he's very good against parry characters like Asuka, Jun, Feng, maybe with the exception of Leroy. Leroy might still be able to parry this, but overall having weapons for jabs or having knives for jabs means you won't really be getting parried that much. So Victor, his biggest strength is range. He has range for days. Like his range is pretty strong. And he's a tall character. Probably the tallest character in the game. So already his range is good from that. So Victor has good damage as well. His damage is pretty ridiculous. And he has a stance mix-ups as well. So he has this stance where he has a hit, kind of mid-hit engager. He has a homing move, right? He has mids, which go into his other stance. I'll talk about his other stance, sword stance. Then he has a low as well. So kind of like a quick stance, entry stance, right? So it's kind of like Lars to some extent, right? He can attach his stances together in his own kind of unique way. So the sword stance we saw earlier, right, is this stance right here. So his moves are limited, but like his range in this stance is ridiculous. So he has strong options from this. He has a low, launch punishable on block, but insane range, good damage. He has a mid, which is a combo, kind of like a screw for combos, mainly for combos. So just something basic, right? You get a screw from that. He has, what am I doing? A mid, he can cancel this, right? Cancel back to stance. So kind of like a check to continue your pressure. He has a low, which is a low high, full string. So you can just bait them, because if you don't want to duck, boom, bait them, go low, right? So yeah, he is like a mix-up character in stances. There's this insane mid as well, right? Pretty good. So mix-up character in stances, very good range and damage. That's kind of like Victor. His lows are pretty good as well. He's launch punishable, right? He has down one, right? He has full crouch down forward, full crouch down back. Am I tripping? How do you do that low? Yeah, full crouch 1+2, down forward 1+2, down back 1+2, right? So his low game is pretty good, but pretty risky. This is low high, remember? This is launch punishable. This is basic, his stance low. Launch punishable. His only safer stance low, sorry, his only safest low is this one from the stance. So yeah, Victor is a very, he's a hybrid as well. Stance, he's got OP punishment. Yeah, his punishment is one of the best in the game. I didn't mention that. And the mix-up pressure is just ridiculous, right? Yeah, that's Victor. And his hit enhances, dude, like his hit is ridiculous. So Victor has up forward 1+2, which does 40 damage, pretty good, although this is very unsafe on block and can be launched. However, in hit, it gets enhanced, it becomes safe, and does 54 damage, right? Combo damage. So it's ridiculous. It does so much damage. Pretty insane. He also gets a new move in hit, which forces mix-up in his sword stance. So we can do this. Let's pursue. Right, as you can see, he gets plus frames and into stance, only in hit. So you can force a mix-up between the low, right? Go for mids, right? So yeah, pretty strong. It also enhances his sword down to mid, does more hits, is more plus on block and more damage. That's basically Victor. Strong mix-up character has insane range, right? Has insane punishment as well, and actually good counter hit twos as well, right? So this is 1+2, good counter hit move, right? His biggest weakness is his lows, very risky. He's a very linear character, can be easily stepped, right? Yeah, that's basically Victor's biggest weaknesses. His linearity and his risky lows, right? His lows are not that great, but overall, he's a strong character, one of the best in the game, right? And his range is pretty ridiculous. And when I pick up Victor, you love weapons, kind of like a spec ops kind of character, right? Ninja character. Expression, right? And Victor is that character for you. Expression. Ling Xiaoyu, Jin's girl and another iconic character of the Tekken franchise, introduced back in Tekken 3, has made every subsequent game since then. So Xiaoyu is a very evasive character, right? You wanna be evasive with this character, and she's got a stance called AOP that is epiphany of evasion. So just to show you guys, let me record this. So no, not for my move list, record AOP, just to that teabag in this. She has this like teabag, right? So moves go under this stance, and it's kind of like ridiculous, right? You have to be careful with what moves you decide to throw when facing against Xiaoyu. So it's kind of a thing with the character, right? When you face Xiaoyu, you don't fight her in the sense that you would fight almost every other Tekken character. You have to find certain means that hit her in the stance, right? So that's the kind of character that Xiaoyu is. She uses this stance as kind of like a mid crushing stance. It goes under almost every strong mid out there. Only a few moves hit her in that stance. So with that said, she's an evasive character that thrives in AOP and being a mix-up heavy character as well. So she has a bunch of stances. She has AOP, like I showed you. She has a low from this, right? She has a low sweep, right? She has a mid from this, a safe mid launcher. If people duck, this will launch you, right? So it's a mix-up between the sweep and the mid launcher, right? She has other safer stuff like 1+2. She has other stuff. Counter hit launching mid. I thought they nerfed that. Actually, counter hit launching mid again in Tekken 8. 1-2. Yeah. So AOP used for mix-up. As you can see, she shows the back turn stance. She has a back turn sweep, which screws on normal hit. A back turn low. Back turn mid launcher. So if she catches you ducking, you're getting launched. Just like back turn pressure, she can roll from back turn. This also has crushing properties, just like an AOP. It can go under a lot of stuff. So again, if you're facing Xiao, you have to be careful when she's in your face doing this. She has a normal roll, right, to us the neutral. Yeah. So she's that kind of character, kind of like a gimmick character with insane mix-ups, especially when she is in hit. So when she's in hit, she gets some mix-up potential with her, what's this stance called? Wait, how do you do this stance? Am I tripping? Let's see, sorry guys. Move list, hypnotist. Hypnotist stance. Let's see. Is it down 1+2? No, that's AOP. There we go. Down back 1+2. Yes. So hypnotist, she has a low from this, right? So low in the mid hit engager. So in hit, these become enhanced. The low becomes a knockdown, and the mid becomes hella knockdown with hella damage, right? So now you're in this 50-50 kind of situation. Especially with Xiaoyu at the wall, this becomes very, very scary. Her punishment is decent, not that great, right? She has, 10 frame, right? So her punishment is kind of mid, honestly speaking, but it gets the job done. Her outstanding punishment is really good, you know. She has a shoulder for 12 frame. I forgot about this. 15 frame. She has 1+2. Is it 1+2 now? Did they change it? Yeah, there we go. Back 1+2. Oh my god, they changed it. So 15 frames, you have that. So her punishment is decent, right? Not the best in the game, but decent. So Xiaoyu, if you want a character, you know, that's evasive, stands pressure with a lot of crashing, right? Gimmicks in a sense, right? You're gonna be doing some really gimmicky stuff, right, with this character, right? Sweep, right? Yeah, that's basically going to be Xiaoyu, right? Has a decent grab game as well. I forgot to speak about that. Basically for 2 and 1+2. So yeah, if you want a character that has gimmicks, goes under a lot of stuff, has AOP pressure, right, then Xiaoyu is that character for you. Yoshimitsu, another of the iconic character of the Tekken franchise, probably the most iconic character. Fun fact, Yoshi is actually human. He is a human samurai, in case you were wondering what the hell this character is. Human, samurai, space ninja kind of thing. So Yoshi is the oddball of the Tekken franchise. He is like the weird gimmicky character that does everything, right? He can heal, has a helicopter stance, pogo sticks, right? He stabs himself, right? He is that character, has life steal, can gain life, can lose health, right? So he is that gimmicky kind of character, but he is a very fun character. And don't let his gimmicks fool you. This character is insanely strong. One of the best characters in the game. Very underrated right now. So like I said, Yoshi has a bunch of gimmicks, but you can choose to not use these gimmicks if you don't want to. He's a very viable character with like fundamentals on their own. So the thing that Yoshi, what drives Yoshi, his archetype basically revolves around his life steal mechanic. Like I said, Yoshi is a character that heals, right? So he has a bunch of moves that heal, whilst his sword is overpowered, right? So right now, the sword is not powered up. However, if I do put my sword away, right? So like I said, he has stances, right? Pogo stick, he has a sit stance, has a helicopter stance, right? He also has a no sword stance. So in this stance, whatever sword move he dishes out becomes powered up and heals his health back. So for example, this is up back 1+2. Right? As you can see, knockdown does nothing. However, I put my sword away and I do up back 1+2. Look at that. Huge damage, right? And as you guys saw, the orbs, right? He absorbed some orbs. Those orbs are what heal this character. So this applies to so many other sword moves, right? 1-1, for example. Right? Basic punish, 10 frame punisher. I put my sword away. Oh my god, I put my sword away. Knock down, 29 damage, and I heal as well, right? So this applies to so many different moves. What other move does he have? He has back 2-2, hit engager, right? I put my sword away, back 2-2. Sorry, no, this one actually just heals you without the need of putting your sword away. Same applies to 4-1+2. So hit engager 4-1+2. You see that? Heals me as well. So he has this mechanic that he has where he heals up when he does moves from normal sword stance. So when Yoshi is in hit, all his moves become usable without having the need to put your sword away. So now you can just regain health normally, right? You can spam these moves, however, at the cost of your hit gauge. And his helicopter stance gets powered up as well. For example, helicopter 1, as you can see, just knocks down, right? For a follow-up, right? In hits, helicopter 1 becomes a launcher, right? So pretty strong. Same for helicopter 2. So helicopter 1+2. Forward 2, yeah. As you can see, yeah, this one, yeah, forward 1+2. As you can see, 40 damage. However, in hits, right, you get heal, and I think he has more frame data, I might be mistaken. But anyway, those two moves get enhanced. His punishment is decent, not the best in the game. And however, Yoshi is a complicated character. I wouldn't say difficult, but complicated. There's a lot of filler on his move list that you won't need to use. So this makes it very difficult for the beginner to know what to use and what not to use. So again, if you're playing Yoshi, you have to know what you want to prioritize with his character when you pick him up. So you like the oddball, you like the gimmicks, you like the samurai feel, you know, the weird character, then Yoshi is that character for you. We have Zafina, introduced back in Tekken 6. She hasn't seen quite that much popularity, even in Tekken 8 currently, but she is one of the best looking female characters in the game, and her design is pretty unique. So, Zafina revolves around her Azazel arm, right? The arm she got from Azazel back in Tekken 6 from trying to sustain the evil, right? Locked the evil away with whatever magic she had, right? So everything revolves around Zafina's Azazel arm, right? So that's her archetype. However, she is a stance character. She has so many stances. She has Tarantula. Look at this, right? So her only, she's like a unique designed character, right? She has Mantis, I believe. She has Scarecrow. Does she have three? She might have three stances. I might be missing one, but she revolves around stance pressure. She's not quite the mix-up character as Xiaoyu, you know, in terms of stances, but she just has powerful moves once a stance. For example, she has a good low in the stance, right? She has a slide, or she has a very strong mid. She has a power crush, very strong Azazel mid. Remember, revolves around the Azazel arms. You dark, she goes for this. You know, a Scarecrow as well. She has a low for this. She has, I think, downfall. This downfall slide. She has down 3 as well. She has down forward 3. Very slow hitting low. She does have another mid. Yeah, there we go. Down forward 4. This is the best low in that stance. And as you can see, it transitions into Mantis, right? So she's kind of like, she flows with the stances as well, but not as much as Lars. And she does have mix-ups, but not as much as a character like Xiaoyu. So yeah, her archetype was changed to not focus mainly on stance mix-up, but Azazel mix-ups. So just like Jun, her Azazel arm moves take away her health, right? But unlike Jun, her moves are not as strong as Jun's moves that take away her hit or her health. So you can't really justify using these moves as much as you can with Jun. So now, when Zafina is in hit, all these moves won't take up health and they become power crushes, right? And they do more damage, at least most of them, or some of them, right? So for example, this is Scarecrow, down forward 1, knock down 30 damage. In hit, becomes a power crush, right, as you can see. So now, even if you're not in plus frames, right, I can do this on hit, sorry, on block, right? This is only -2, but it's not my turn, right? So if I'm in hit, my Azazel arm becomes a power crush. So now I can just use this and it's safe as well, right? It does not take up my health. So that's the idea behind how you play Zafina with the Azazel arm. Basically, you want to force them to respect you in stance because of these Azazel arms being a power crush, right? They have to respect you, right? So it becomes difficult with Zafina because you don't know if she's negative because she has this power crush mechanic to her. So that's basically how she works. She's very complicated as well, not an easy character to pick up, and you know, it's kind of bad. Strengths, her weaknesses, like I said, she revolves too much around stances. So in neutral, her gameplay is not that scary. She has to go into stance to really like excel, right? That's her one biggest weakness. Her other is punishment. Her punishment is not good. She has no 15 frame launcher, as well, just like Steve and Raven, right? But hers is like worse. It's really bad, right? Although she does have, I think what's this? This is what? 15 frame, right? Really, really strong 15 frame mid, right? Yeah, but overall, yeah, not that great. And lastly, she takes up too much of her health compared to Jun. The moves you use for her health are not worth it, honestly. You know, but yeah, that's basically how Zafina works. So if you think she's that kind of character for you, you like the Egyptian vibe, mysterious stance character, weird stances, right? Scarecrow, Mantis, yeah, if you vibe with this character, it's definitely a character for you for sure. I have it, guys, a general idea of how every character works and their archetypes. I hope it was helpful and has helped you decide who you're going to main in this game. Like I say, 32 characters is a huge roster. It's insanely huge. It can be very difficult to decide who you're going to main. And again, there are DLCs coming, so this roster will be huge. Tekken already has a huge roster at the end of the lifespan. So just get yourself familiar with the characters and decide who you're going to play. I hope it was helpful. If you're new, please do consider subscribing. It's very difficult being a small channel, so please, it will help me massively. And don't forget to doria that like button. So thank you guys so much. And may the frame data be ever in your favor. Go play some Tekken. GG.